and home safety checklists, visit www.homesafetycouncil.org. The Home Safety Council. A safe home is in your hands.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now.
It's time for Drive Radio, presented by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Whether you need help diagnosing a problem,
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Or just want to learn about all things automotive.
Hey, how exactly does a Positrack rear on the Plymouth work? It gets nuts.
Then you've come to the right place. So start your engines, buckle up, and get ready to ride. Drive Radio starts now on KLZ 560 The Source.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, and it's a gorgeous-looking Saturday morning outside, but it's actually a little frigid, so I don't know what the temperature got up to, but when I was on my way down here, it was about 20 degrees on the way to the station this morning, and I had the glorious opportunity this morning, Larry, of having a press car like I do on most weeks. And on the way down, though, it runs out of windshield washer fluid, which let's just say that's not really what you want on a day like today, is to be out of windshield washer fluid. So I still made it. I had to, I'm not sure how I did. I finally got off of the highway and got over, went to the gas station, got some windshield washer fluid and got in. So today, maybe not so much right now, but this morning, it was definitely windshield washer fluid kind of day.
Well, it could be that way all day, but at least until noon.
At least till, yeah, I'm guessing until about noon. Yeah, you're probably exactly right. So at any rate, we've got lines open. Let's keep Larry busy. 303-477-5600. You just heard him call in, or sorry, you just heard him on the air. We want to keep him busy, so he's on the other side of the glass along with Mindy, our great engineer for the day. So give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Anything you want to talk about. Hopefully, if you're working, it's inside a nice heated garage, because working outside today would not be fun. So we got several subjects to cover. We've got a special guest coming on at 11 o'clock. Marty Schulte will be joining us, and he is from Eclipse Sunshades. He'll be talking to us about a product that they've got, which you would think about using in the summer, but frankly, our rays in the winter are as bad on some of the interior components as it is in the summertime. So we'll talk about that around the 11 o'clock hour. And again, we'll take your calls. 303-477-5600. Question of the day. Larry might be able to answer this one. We'll see. And Larry, if you talk, get that mic closer, by the way. Sorry. You can tip that thing all the way up. There we go. And then Ken Rackley is joining us as we speak, walking in. And I figured he would be here at any moment. So without further ado, Ken Rackley is also with us. So the question of the day, what is the best feature of any car you've ever owned? Now, it could even be a feature maybe that you don't own on a car, but I'm just, you have to have firsthand experience of the feature to call in and talk about it. What's the best feature of any car you've ever owned? Larry?
Oh, that's an easy one. I was going to put up the first 8-track.
The first 8-track.
Oh, yeah.
What's an 8-track?
What's an 8-track?
Is that 8-wheel drive?
Well, it's right before the disc,
So I had one this morning that made me kind of think about this. It says, a big sign on Facebook this morning, did you know? Not many people know this, but your car has a special device on it called an indicator. If you look at it at your steering column, or right above your steering column, you'll find a secret stick, which will activate a flashing orange light on the outside of your car. It flashes to let other drivers know which direction you're thinking of going.
Is that something new?
I think it is.
It must be. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Because many people forget about it.
Right. Yes, exactly. Or just don't bother.
They don't know that it's there.
You're right. Yeah.
So there's a lever that sticks out, typically in our country, on the left-hand side of the steering column.
Oh, I'll be darned. I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and there's a little, most cars, there's either a little, it's typically green. There's usually a little green arrow on the, inside of your
the instrument cluster?
Yeah, there you go. On the instrument cluster that usually lights up in correlation to what's on.
Weird.
And it even, I think anymore, maybe I'm wrong on this, Ken, but I'm thinking that there's either little clicks or beeps inside the car when that's actually going off.
Wow. So you would be aware if it was working.
Typically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
It's really a handy feature. So, amazingly enough.
Yeah.
303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Randy, you're next.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Randy.
I'd seen a feature on a, I think it was a Jeep, and I really liked it. And by the way, tell me if I can have this installed. But I had to move the car out of the driveway, and, I had to adjust the seat. And she said, that's all right. It has an automatic, setback or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it put it right back to where she adjusted it to.
Called memory seats.
I like it. Go ahead.
It's called a memory seat.
Is that something that can be installed, or
Not typically. If the vehicle doesn't come with it, I would doubt very seriously if it's something you could add.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, because when I go to my mechanic, he's like over 6 foot, and there goes my seat all the way back to the back seat. And, I sit there and fidget with it for a half hour.
And you know what? In a lot of the newer vehicles, even doesn't have to be a high-end vehicle anymore. A lot of the memory seats will have either 1, 2, typically they'll have 2. I've seen some with as many or 3 or 4 different, in other words, if there's 3 or 4 different drivers in the family where there's that many memories on that particular seat. I think I've seen up to 4. Typically, you're going to see 2 or 3.
Wow.
Handy feature.
I got to kind of gauge, the rear view mirror and my other mirrors to see if I got it right. Because,
right.
So it gets in there 6 foot tall, I'm nowhere near that.
Yep. No, I hear you. Well, and one of the things, and I don't know about Ken, but one of the things we used to teach or at least I used to teach my technicians and service advisors in my shop was remember where the seat was when you got in the car and put it back there for the person, for the customer. That way they know that, you're thinking of them because, not, in defense of the technicians, you get a tall technician that has to get in the car and move the seat back and so on. But yet the little lady that dropped it off might be 5 foot tall and it's a little tough for her to reach the pedals when your 6'2" technician just climbed in.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't get that anywhere that I can recall. That's kind of a specialty. That's kind of pretty neat.
That's what we used to do with our guys. We used to make them mark the seats and they'd put it back where it was. And then when we pulled it back into the done line, it was all ready to go, done, handled. Everything was taken care of, and the customer knew that things were set to go.
Yeah, I've been to places where they actually mess with the mirrors and stuff, and it's like you're pulling the car in about 15 feet. Go ahead and put the seatbelt on, too.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, if they take a test drive in it, they're going to do some of that. But again, those things need to go back to where they were.
Yeah.
We did our best to just make the guys, as much as possible, not make any adjustments unless it was something where it was really extreme, then they had to.
That's kind of us too. Right. We, unless it's a safety issue, we try not
where
to
you don't fit.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's a great feature, though. You're right, Randy.
All right, well, keep on, guys.
Hey, you do the same, Randy. Appreciate it very much. And we're asking the question, what's the best feature of any car you've ever owned? 303-477-5600. Randy in Arvada, you're next, sir.
Yeah, this is all Randy call-in day today.
Yeah, it must be. You've got to be Randy to call today.
Okay, that works for me. I can't think of a best feature, but if I think of one while we're talking, I'll let you know.
Okay.
My question is, the other morning when I got to work, it was dark out, and I had a headlight out on the passenger side. So, I go to the parts store after work, going to get a new bulb. I pull in front of the parts store, and both my lights are working. So I go through dim, right, everything's working. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I'm thinking, okay, everything's good here. I don't know. So this morning, I get in my car to go to work. I got the passenger side headlight out again. So I don't know what's going on. You got any ideas?
What kind of vehicle is it?
Suzuki SX4.
Oh, okay. So it's just got a regular halogen bulb in it and stuff.
Could just be the bulb still bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And going over a bump may connect the filament, just enough to where the light works the next morning. You hit another bump, it could go out. It's very, very possible. Easy way to check that is to pull the light out. And by the way, as everybody else listening, you can do the same thing. Now, this is on regular, filament type bulbs. A lot of the new projector beams and so on, they work differently, and LEDs, of course, are way different. But the old style bulbs, and there's still a bunch of these running around, even in taillights and so on. Easiest way to check a bulb is to pull it out, grab it with your index finger and your thumb, hold it up to the light, take your other finger and flick it, just like you used to do your kid's ear when he was misbehaving. You flick that bulb as hard as you can, and you see if the filament bounces back and forth. If you can see where it's not connected when you do that.
But it would still occasionally come on.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Yep. It can do that. Even in the connection, we've seen, because there is still a vacuum sealed bulb, and we've actually seen the connections inside just not make connection at sometimes,
Correct.
whether it be temperature. But you have to be careful with those halogen bulbs not to touch the glass.
If you do, wipe them off with alcohol.
Be sure and get all your finger oils
Right.
and stuff like that off of them, or it will
so
bubble the glass.
Dumb question on that one, and not for you, Randy, but for Ken. Why only halogen bulbs instead of regular bulbs?
You kind of wonder. And
Because you can take a regular taillight bulb, put your fingerprints all over it, slide it in, and it'll last a long, long time. But a halogen bulb will go, prematurely. They'll blow out because you've got your fingerprints on them.
I think it's just
Your oil,
Yeah,
the oil in your
exactly.
hands.
You figure the 55-watt bulb compared to a taillight bulb being a 20 watt or 15 watt or
But
something like that.
to Ken's point, if it's a halogen, make sure you're wiping it off with some alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll make it go bad.
Both those headlight bulbs are the same age, so I was just going to go ahead and replace them both. But they're eight years old. So
Got it.
It's just
Good idea. No, that's not a bad idea. It's to the point where I would probably, if you're going to do one, do them both. They're not that expensive, and you can typically save a little money by buying a pair pack. I think you can actually buy a pair pack at the same time and save a few bucks to where it's really you're not really spending that much more money.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if you had any ideas why it worked and didn't work, and then it's working again. I couldn't figure that one out.
Just think about an incandescent bulb at your house where it used to be in a lamp, and maybe you'd walk by, on the floor. The floor would vibrate a little bit. The light would go out and then come right back on again. Similar situation.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it. And while you're at it, make sure you check that blinker fluid.
That's right, because if you hit that lever and the blinker fluid is empty,
It's not gonna work.
It's not
So
going to work.
you gotta have blinker fluid.
That's
I got
right.
2 comments, John. John from Inglewood called in, and his feature.
Get closer to the mic too, Larry. Sorry.
The feature that John from Inglewood likes is the intermittent wipers.
Delay wipe. Okay.
Okay, and in talking about your fluid, your windshield washer your turn signal lever, you can also buy a flasher that is louder.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
Heavy duty flashers.
Heavy
That's
duty.
true. So you can hear it.
Us hard hearing individuals.
What?
Point.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You can.
Yeah.
So you can actually upgrade the flasher, make it louder.
Yeah.
And what I would tell you to do too, and I didn't do this today just because I was in a big hurry and first gas station I hit, I bought some washer fluid. But Napa sells a higher grade washer fluid that works at a lower temperature and does a lot better job of cleaning, which means you won't use as much of it. Which means when it's all said and done, I don't know that you're really paying any more money for it at the end of the day, Ken.
If you use less of it, and it goes longer.
It's a purple color. That's where you kind of know the difference. At least is it still purple? Last year when I bought it, it was purple. Have you guys bought any this year? Larry's shaking his head yes. So it's a purple colored fluid. In fact, Ken, if we think about it, we'll look that up and let everybody know what that part number is here in just a minute. 303-477-5600. We're asking the question, what's your favorite feature, I should say, on any vehicle that you've owned or maybe driven? Maybe you drove a rental car sometime and you thought, man, what a great feature. Like Randy called in a moment ago. He hasn't owned a vehicle with memory seats, but he was in one and thought, wow, what a great feature. Some of you are probably going to say, we've got too many features. Well, maybe so, but what's some of the greatest features that you've seen on vehicles today?
And there's so many things that you just take for granted anymore.
Power steering.
Brakes. Right. We were talking about this driving the old cars back yesterday at work, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't have that car anymore. Because no power steering, no power brakes. I mean, it just.
Well, think about this So my old Buick, my '68 GS that I had in high school that I bought back. That car's got power steering and power brakes, but they're the old thin drum brakes all around.
Right.
And you get so used to driving disc brake cars. I mean, I haven't driven a drum brake car since I sold that car last, probably. So it's been 20 years since. The first time you get behind the wheel, you're like, wow, this thing doesn't have any brakes.
You're right.
I mean, it does, but it just doesn't stop the way that a disc brake car does.
Exactly.
Not even close.
Not even close.
You better give yourself more room.
Yeah. The things, like even automatic headlights on most vehicles, because I see so many cars, especially this time of year, with
that aren't on.
Yeah, exactly. Just pitch black.
I saw one last night.
I saw two. Home. Yeah, exactly. Snow, rain coming down. It's like, man, you really got to.
The problem is the daytime running lights will make it appear that they're actually on when in fact they're not. So, Ken, that's a great tip. A lot of you that have automatic lights this time of year, you've got to make sure that you're turning those on. Or there are a lot of vehicles that will automatically, they don't necessarily have automatic lights. In other words, they don't come off and on with dusk and dawn sort of a thing, Ken. But they will automatically turn the lights off to keep the battery from running down.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Depending upon what system you have, really watch that. And most of all, make sure that your lights are on. Be safe. I followed a car the other night down I-225 that was absolutely stone dark. And all he was relying on, evidently, was just the street lights because it didn't have any daytime running lights. How he could see to drive, and I knew it was he because I looked over. Looked over because I tried to get him to understand what I was saying. That so what is the signal for turn lights on?
What
I
the
have
heck?
no idea what that is. Without
right.
actually getting close enough to talk to him, I have no idea how you do that. But
exactly.
At any rate, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll take some more calls. Give us a call, though. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. What's the best feature of any car you've ever owned? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Colorado Select Car Care Centers present 560 ways to care for your car. Especially important this time of year is to clean, flush, and put new antifreeze in the cooling system. As a general rule of thumb, this should be done every 2 years. It's an easy job, so pop the hood yourself. Or take your car to a Colorado Select Car Care Center, and they'll do it for you. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of shop owners who are ASE-certified master technicians, providing exceptional customer service with a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. Find a Colorado Select Car Care Center near you at coloradoselect.org.
At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we won't try to impress you with a waiting room with a big screen TV and lattes. What we will do is give you good service and expert repair. We pride ourselves in being interested in you and your vehicle. We stand behind our work with the power of Napa Auto Care and a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty. And if needed, we do have a customer waiting area. Come see us at Arvada West Auto for all your repair needs. We are located at 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or call 303-422-1065 for an appointment.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just 1 tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop at BG Products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these 2 letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is, they would have preferred to do the preventive maintenance instead.
10 seconds, guys.
Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio KLZ 560 on a fabulous looking And with that wind we had earlier in the week, Ken, it's about as clear as it gets today.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a sign of pollution out there.
No, they're really it's really a nice day. Even with the inversion we typically get on days like today, it's a pretty nice looking day out. Now it is still cold. What was it out on your way in? What was it?
When I woke up this morning, it was 7, and it was cold.
And you got here?
By the time I got here, it was 18.
Okay, so 18.
So
I rolled in at about 20 , so it's
okay.
And
So
that could be the difference in the two thermometers, but
exactly.
So it's still about 20 degrees.
Yep.
That's chilly.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Brian up in Netherlands. Who's next? Brian, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, John. I have a feature that I want to talk about, and it's kind of unusual.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Many years ago, wouldn't do any good today, but many years ago, I had a car with a convertible top.
Ah.
So you could put the top down.
Yep. Yep.
And
which they don't do too many of those anymore. There was a lot more convertibles back in the day. And then there for a while, we had no convertibles, and now we've got a few companies making convertibles, but it's still pretty. It's still
rare.
pretty far. Yeah, it's still few and far between on manufacturers, and some manufacturers have no convertibles.
Yeah, it's been that way. But I just wanted to throw that in. There wasn't quite, what you're looking for.
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's not something you really think about. It's an option that, that's going to be an acquired taste, and that's going to be for for a lot of people, and that's neat. Yeah.
Well, so what car was it?
Well, it was a little sports car. It was an Alfa Romeo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they just came out with a new one, actually. Alfa Romeo did with, I just noticed they released it at the LA Auto Show. I haven't done much research on it yet, but it's a little 2-seater roadster convertible. Good looking car. And Fiat just came out with their new little 2-seater convertible, sort of like a Miata, if you would. I put that on our Facebook page. Hold on a second here. I'll grab it real quick. I'll tell you the exact of model of that car real quick, because I just put that up this last week. It's a Fiat 124 Spider. Roughly about the same size, maybe slightly larger than a Miata. Good looking car, though.
Yeah. However, as much as I had that and as much as I loved it, if you didn't know, and I'm not a mechanic guy, I can change my plugs and I've changed starters and stuff, but basically I don't know what I'm doing. And if you didn't know what you were doing with that Alfa Romeo, it was going to die.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just so different that you had to know the ins and outs of it. And Fiat and Alfa, I don't like what they're doing as a corporate entity. I think they're kind of off track.
I don't know much about Alpha, but I know Fiat's actually doing pretty well. Dollar wise, profit wise, they're doing really well. Of course, because they own a lot of different companies now. They own Chrysler and Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, all of that Fiat, and of course those brands are actually doing better than Fiat is around the world, and that's really helped them out tremendously.
Right. But in Chrysler, my dad was always a Chrysler man. He had a 51 New Yorker. He had a 55 Windsor, and he had a 57 Windsor.
Got it.
With the great big fins that everybody thought was the cat's meow.
Got it.
Now they look a little strange.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Hey, well, it's good talking.
Hey, likewise. Really appreciate the phone call, Brian. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Stay warm. Mike, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hello.
How you doing, Mike?
Oh, hi. I've got a 2001 Saturn, and it's got an intermittent high idle, goes up to about like 2,000 RPM, and it won't shut down unless I turn the car off and then back on again. And I've replaced the idle air control valve, but can you think of anything else that I could look at?
So you put an IAC motor in it is what you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and didn't change anything?
Right. So it seems to do it when it's cold or colder, a little bit more. If it was a vacuum leak, I would think that if shutting the car off and then back on again wouldn't change anything.
I would agree with that. So I would tend to agree that you're on the right track. It's got to be some sort of a engine management issue. Ken's doing a little research on it right now as we speak to see what's out there. But I'm guessing, and Ken, you can answer this too, but you're going to have to put a scan tool on that to find out exactly what's going on with it.
Find out what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, IAC they do fail from time to time. And, where did you get your IAC, stuff like that too. But if it's doing the same thing, it's rare that it would be that. But, throttle position sensors, different programming, there can be, it could be an updated program for that too, software. What model Saturn is it?
It's the Wagon SW2.
All right.
And it's pretty old, but it actually doesn't have a lot of miles. It's just under 60,000 or so.
Oh, sure. So that's pretty low. Yeah.
So yeah, but it was my mom's car. It was one of those things that wasn't driven a whole lot, obviously, and sat a long time. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I've taken the throttle body off and cleaned everything in there, and didn't look particularly dirty, but everything. The throttle, the butterfly works fine, and so. But you don't think like the throttle position sensor? Would it be worth looking at that? Replacing that, or?
I would get a scan tool on it first and just see what's going on there, because there are a few different things on those, with anything from throttle position to IAC to wiring issues that I'm seeing that are somewhat common on there. Even the temperature sensors, there's a lot of different things that help control that idle, and like a temperature sensor would be, I would say, a little more unlikely, just because when you shut it off and restart it, it resets itself. So
right.
It's there's even computer issues and ground and all kinds of issues. Is it from Colorado or is it?
No, it's from New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be more in a wiring issue, or a connection or something along those lines. But that's all a guess at this point. So.
Right. No, it's just, you're probably right, because it had a lot of rust on it. A lot of the components had to be replaced underneath.
Yeah.
And so it's, like you say, it's very possible. Okay. That gives me a good idea.
Right.
All right.
Sounds great.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. So we're asking the question, what's your favorite feature? Not necessarily of any vehicle you've owned, but something you've driven, something you've got some experience with. I mean, there's a lot of things out there, Ken, where we look at it and say, that would be a great, that'd be a great thing to have. Well, until you actually have it and use it.
And then don't have it and want it.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And we've had some good answers today. I wasn't really thinking along the lines of the convertible, but, I can understand that one. If you like that open air feeling and you like a convertible, you know what? It's a good answer.
You betcha. Yeah, exactly.
Now, it could be an electronic feature. It could be, you name it. I mean, there's so many different things that have changed since, even since, cars became super popular in the 30s and 40s. And of course, even in the 50s and 60s, and it's just expanded on up the line since. And so many advancements we've made, especially, Ken, in the last 5 years, I want to say, 10 maybe, but 5 especially. So many different things. I hopped in, drove a new Corvette last weekend, just for the weekend, the 2016 Corvette, and it had what they call the new Apple CarPlay built into it, which basically, if you're an Apple user, it essentially simulates everything on your phone, your most favorite apps and so on, automatically show up on the screen in the car and simulate your phone, where you can literally just put your phone away and everything else you need to do is right in front of you. From what phone calls you had, to who you want to call, to your address book, to text messaging that will read to you, and the whole 9 yards. It's pretty interesting.
Nice.
Pretty slick. One of those things where if you owned it and then it went away, you'd probably wish you had it back.
Right.
Now, I've never owned one like that, but it's one of those things that, like delay wipe, you'd own it and say, man, I wish I had that back.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Can you buy a car today without intermittent wipers? Or is it pretty much standard on everything you buy today?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last press car I've ever driven without intermittent wipers.
Right, unless you just maybe go bottom line on something, the very
I'm
budget
driving that
line
Scion
vehicle.
out there right now, which is essentially a Mazda 3 that Scion's importing for Mazda. I don't understand all of that yet. I got to read up about that, but that's a Mazda 3 with a Scion IA badge, but it is all Mazda.
Oh, okay, sure.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a Mazda.
Yeah.
Everything on the interior. And I haven't looked under the hood and all of that, but everything interior-wise is all Mazda. And so you look at that car, and it's pretty much a bare-bones car. That car is, $16,000, $17,000 is all.
Okay.
Four-door sedan. And no automatic headlights. So you have to manually turn the lights on and off. Now, if you leave them on, they will turn off for you.
Yeah.
But it does have, intermittent wipers. Now, there's no power seats, memory seats, anything along those lines. Does have a decent radio. And one of the things that's beginning to be pretty much standard anymore, for those of you that don't know about it, is the Bluetooth connectivity with your phone, so that everything works through your sound system in the car, where you never really have to take your hands off the wheel to make a phone call. That feature is becoming pretty standard across the board.
Sure.
Even in low-end models.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can get now for $16,000.
Well, and the electronics part is probably the least expensive, option and things like that, because it's a program, it's a few electronic parts and stuff like that. So it's costs very little to put those on. So that makes sense that they're going that direction.
All right, so what's your favorite feature? Give us a call, 303-477-5600. We've got some other things we'll share with you throughout the day, so don't worry. We've got plenty to talk about. Really, we're here, though, to take your calls. Any questions you've got, anything you want to know about, maybe you have some comments on some of our recent snowstorms and driving and all those different things, we'll take those calls as soon as we come back. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. This is John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the customer your driver was trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually anticipate maintenance items before they become major repairs or ultimately breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
John Rush here. I want to talk to you about your pets. I know it's a little weird on Drive Radio to talk about pets, but it's something that a lot of us have. Pets. I have one. I brought a couple of gentlemen along with me today that also have pets. So David and Dan.
Hey, John.
Dan,
Hey,
first of
John.
all, what kind of a pet do you have?
I've got a Shih Tzu.
Okay.
Little black Shih Tzu.
Okay. David, you.
I have a 3.5-year-old Alaskan Malamute.
So question I have for you two guys is, are they a part of the family?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Kona is like blood.
Okay. So if something happens to them, making sure they have proper care is like of the utmost, I'm guessing?
Oh, it's very, very important. Money's usually no object.
Okay, so I have a great place you guys can actually take your pets to get them taken care of. It's the Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center. It's owned by Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle. They're longtime supporters of Drive Radio. And not only do they want to make sure that your pets get taken care of, but they've also got a full showroom of goodies. So if you need anything for your pet, they've got prescription dog food. They've got a full pet grooming facility, pet training. So if you've got a puppy or maybe even an older dog that you need to have some training done on, this is a one-stop shop. And guys, you probably know this as well as I. When you walk into most veterinarian clinics, what do they smell like?
Ooh, not good. Like animals.
You get my drift.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Unfortunately.
When you walk in here into Lone Tree Veterinarian Clinic, it is not that way at all. It smells like a really professional, just like any doctor's office you would walk into. That's the way this thing works. So I would encourage you guys, use them. It's Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle. Their phone number, 303-708-8050. You can find them at LoneTreeVet.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure.
10 seconds.
Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
On Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560, along with Ken Rackley from TuneTech and Mindy and Larry on the other side of the glass. Lines are full. We'll get you as soon as, or call us as soon as somebody drops off. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Rob in Centennial, you are next.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
That fella calling in with his 2001, I hope he fixes the issue. We have a 93 SW2, and it's been a very faithful car, but in the cold weather, it does have some evil features. And when the early run of that thing, they would put the windshield wiper fluid at the far end of the hood compartment away from the engine, which doesn't sound like an issue until on a really cold day you find out that has frozen solid.
Yep.
So I had to get that 40 below Prestone, which you can get at the big department stores.
Oh, yeah.
And put that in there, and that worked pretty well. And then the other thing was the screamer. It would howl like the damned when you started it up on a cold day, and I finally figured out it was the power steering fluid.
Yes.
That would get very viscous.
Yep.
And so I had to go down to a racing supply store, 3R in Calumet and Inglewood, and buy synthetic power steering fluid.
Yep.
Which solved that problem. But the nice thing about an old car is you know the weird stuff.
That's true.
And that's a good reason to stay with it, because you start over with a new one.
Real quick, an interesting feature. I drove on a new car this last week, which I'm guessing other high-end vehicles probably have this, but I've never really paid much attention to it. I drove a Volvo S60 this last week. Nice car, by the way. Heated windshield washer fluid. Yeah.
But the Europeans had that a long time before we did.
Yep, heated windshield washer fluid.
Wiper fluid on the headlights.
Yes, it does that too.
Really
I'm thinking, why can't we Americans do that? What a great feature.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah, mention it enough and they'll require it. And that'll add $250 to the customer.
You know what? That's one of those things. I'd pay $250 for to have clean headlights.
Yeah.
You do have a point.
Yeah.
And then the neat little feature, which is just such a basic thing, I had to retrofit it on the Vanagon, is just to have a little RCA mini jack on the front of the radio.
Yeah.
You can take your cell phone if you've got that and get a male-to-male cable or your little MP3 player and just plug that in, so wherever you are, it doesn't matter what the radio station is, what kind of features your radio's got, whatever you've got can just play over the speakers. And my little cell phone, I was using Copilot, which is a really nice navigation aid. Best one on the market, I think. But anyway, it'll interrupt the music, say, turn left in 300 yards.
Oh, nice.
And you see, it's a hands-free thing too. I mean, if you set that thing and just have the music playing for hours on end, your hands are free. You're not messing around with the stations, and messing around with the radio stations is a good way to die.
It is. You're right. No, and the new cars have really gotten that to where you don't really you don't need to take your hands off the wheel much at all. They've done a good job that way.
Vehicles like the 93s or even the earlier than that, it's awfully nice to have them.
It is very nice. You're right. Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
You betcha. Good stuff.
As well as ever.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the kudos and thanks for the phone call. I need to mention this too. You just heard the ad a moment ago for Lone Tree Vet Clinic. And again, a lot of you are asking, why do you have a vet clinic as a sponsor of Drive Radio? Well, they've been longtime listeners, supporters of Drive Radio. And you know what? A lot of us own pets.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
You?
Oh, yeah. We've got many.
I have one with a torn ACL that's going there this coming Friday. So a week from yesterday to get fixed.
That's great.
And I will tell you this. My wife went into the clinic, and not often, Ken, you're going to understand this as well as anybody. Not often do you get really big kudos from your wife. My wife went there, took my dog in, and she said, first of all, that's the calmest my dog's ever been anytime ever going to the vet. In the first, all she went in for was her, just the initial checkup to see what was happening, X-rays and all that sort of stuff, because we knew there was a problem. Daisy did the best she's ever done at any vet, and my wife was just so impressed with not only the staff, the way the place looked, the way it smelled, the operations. She's like, my wife called me the minute she left her. She's like, that is the nicest place I've ever been in my entire life.
Nice.
So kudos to kudos to Lone Tree. I really appreciate it. Nancy and Bill, thank you guys so much for your support. And Daisy will be there Friday, and we'll get her all fixed up, and then it's a slow road to recovery after.
Yeah.
I didn't even know dogs had ACLs. Dummy me.
We've had a lot of vet issues. We don't have a ton of animals, but we have
we have one.
We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, one and 3 horses.
So there you go. So if you need something, you go over there. They're close to you. Right. Go see them and tell them you're from Drive Radio, and they'll take care of you.
Yeah,
they'll take really good care of you. Actually,
we've had dogs kicked. Broken jaws. It's So
and by the way, that goes with everybody else listening. Yeah. If you have pets and you want to go there, tell them you're a Drive Radio listener, and they will. They're going to take care of all their customers really, really well, anyways.
Either way, yeah.
But as a Drive Radio listener, you're going to be a part of the family when you walk in the door. Just say, "Listen, I listen to Drive Radio. Hear John all the time." Automatically, you're going to get the you're going to get the red carpet.
Well, and that lets them know too where where their advertising dollars are being well spent.
You got it. That's exactly right. All right, let's do this. We'll go to Ken, who is up next. Ken in LaPorte, what's going on, sir?
Hey, John, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for calling, Ken.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a question that has to do with your automobile antenna.
Okay.
And if that gets broken, do you lose all communication with wireless communication, including the operation of your fob? And
no, totally separate systems.
Well, how does that get? Where's the antenna for all of that? If you don't use the radio antenna.
The radio antenna is strictly for the radio itself. Typically speaking. And not on all cars, but especially GM cars for a number of years, and even some Ford, and even some of the I've even seen them in some of the other vehicles, non-American vehicles. A lot of times you'll see a little kind of a rose-colored dome in the middle of the dash, typically up by the windshield. That little bubble is the communication device that key fob is communicating with.
Okay, now with that, what about this previous caller was talking about being told where to turn, and
right
here and is that still
no, that's a feature that he's using typically on another device, an iPad, a cell phone, something along those lines, and he's enabled that to hook into his sound system to where everything then plays through the speakers.
Okay, so that antenna on your car is just for the radio.
That is correct.
To do with,
and really, honestly, it's really more for you're listening to us on AM right now. It's really more of an AM radio device than it even is FM, because AM needs that big, tall antenna. FM does not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I bought when I picked up my Suburban. It didn't have an antenna. I didn't even notice it. Driving home, it's like, what? Listening to FM, and I'm like, I've only got not a big selection of stations. And I got home, and I'm looking, oh, okay.
Antenna's not on.
The antenna's, yeah,
that's right. So, they are 100% made for the radio itself. That's it.
Yep.
What about those little different looking antennas you see that are just very short and kind of strange looking that are on top of some of these cars? Is that just for your radio also?
Most of those are going to be for some sort of a GPS device, an OnStar type system. Depending upon the particular car and who's in it, it could be a cell phone type of an antenna also. Those are pretty much a thing of the past. Most of what you're seeing, if they look like a little fin, typically have to do with the GPS system that's built into the car.
Okay, because I do see those, and I was wondering the purpose for those.
That's what that is.
Yep.
Okay, well, hey, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. Great question, by the way.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet you can. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can squeeze one more call in before our next break. Ryan, you've been holding for a long time. Let's get you in real quick. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, John, how are you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for calling.
Good. Hey, real quick, another thing about that fin antenna, that's also for XM radio, Sirius XM radio.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, the one on top of the car. That's right. Yep.
GPS and Sirius XM.
That's right.
OnStar as well for the GM vehicles. So there you go. Now, feature-wise, cruise control, the best thing ever.
Cruise control, yeah, you betcha.
See, that's one I can live without. But that's just me.
I can't.
Yeah, I mean, when I was on the highway every day, I would use it. Since I'm not on the highway every day. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I don't miss it. But when I do get on the highway, I definitely use it.
Yeah, and if I do a long trip, I will use it in certain instances. Again, it's just me personally. I'm just one of those guys. I've never used cruise control a lot. I don't know why. I grew up with it, and I should. I just don't.
Yeah, that's definitely something
John,
that I
the
use.
reason why you don't live up in Wyoming.
That's true. That's true. Now, I do come to the station every day, but there's so much traffic that cruise control is non-existent.
Can't use it. Yeah, exactly. And that's, I used to get on E470 and go about 15 miles.
That's not bad. You
and
can
it
use
was
it there.
wide open. Yeah, I just set it at 75 and
off you go.
Yep, exactly.
Right. One more comment for you, John. Regarding these, all these fancy systems in the car now, electronics, and whatnot, these stuff for Apple, iPhone, iPod products. My thing is, how soon until they are outdated and really pointless?
Sure.
Well, what they are doing, what I will tell you this is, especially like on the CarPlay side of the fence, I think when you see anybody make the amount of investment that, the manufacturers and Apple, and even on some vehicles, it's a Microsoft system, more than likely, knowing the way Apple does things, I am guessing you're going to see CarPlay around for quite some time because the interface will be updatable. They'll be able to do some software updates to keep that updatable. We all know that the electronic, cell phone, the handheld devices are probably going to be around for quite some time. Will they evolve over time? Yes, but the interface that you'll be able to use with your car probably won't change a whole lot. I mean, the screen might look different, but the way it interfaces probably will stay the same.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I appreciate it. Now, I say that in 25 years from now, what will it look like? I have no idea.
You're right. Exactly.
In the next 10, pretty safe bet it's going to be a solid, a solid bet for that amount of time. After that, I don't know. It's anybody's guess.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't put a cassette player in a vehicle anymore, and you probably can't even buy them anymore.
That's exactly right. Nope, you cannot. All right, let's do this. Quick break. We'll come right back. Dell and Dan, don't go anywhere. We've got one line open, 303-477-5600. What's the favorite feature on any vehicle that you've either driven or owned, or do you have a question involving your car or somebody else's? A lot of times we get people calling for somebody else. We don't mind that a bit. Give us a call. We'll answer your questions, 303-477-5600.
Your car has up to 24 different onboard computers, making repairs more complicated than ever. Without the right tools, some of these repairs are nearly impossible. Once again, Extreme Auto Repair in Parker has gone to the extreme for you. Extreme owner Dennis Brewster invested in the very same scanning tools the dealerships use. This is important because by using these specialized scan tools, they can directly connect your car's computer system to the actual manufacturer for instant diagnostics. Manufacturer specs and all of the up-to-date, detailed repair information your technician needs to properly fix your car. Best of all, they are faster and always cheaper than the dealerships. Extreme Auto Repair, the most technologically advanced car care center in Douglas County. Tell them you listen to KLZ and they'll take 20% off your bill. Call 303-841-1071, 303-841-1071. Extreme Auto Repair in Parker, going to the extreme for you.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared?
John, your 11 o'clock guest is online. Do you want them now or do you want to wait?
I will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know.
Okay. And you got about 2 seconds.
You far.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Dan in Franktown is next. Dan, what's going on with your Explorer?
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, I bought this little gem with 69,000 miles on it about 6 months ago.
Oh, that's good.
Runs
Good mileage.
really well, yeah, it's amazing. Garage, just really nice little
Wow.
truck.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you. I actually work out of it. It's my second vehicle, and question I have for you: occasionally the check engine light comes on, and I did have a diagnostic. I hate to say it, by one of Napa's competitors on the OBD2 or OBD. It's OBD under the hood, right?
Correct. Yeah, not two, just OBD.
Yeah, and anyhow, they thought it was the mass air. Pulled it off. It looks brand new, it's perfectly clean. I hate to replace it. It's pretty simple on this particular vehicle. My question to you is assuming they probably misdiagnosed it, would it be better to have it checked again? I'm thinking an oxy sensor maybe.
Well, if they pulled the codes and, if it did show a history and they were able to kind of monitor of course, monitor that system, because on the 94, you should be able to, at least you have data there. So you should be able to see that. So, I would think that just by looking at it, it's an electronic sensor. Yeah, there's no way to tell. They can be skewed. There can be vacuum leaks, things like that too, that can affect those numbers. But oxygen sensor,
and on an early system like that, I wouldn't go off of just whatever the code says. Somebody that understands the Ford system really needs to scan that, look at it, see what the scan tool is saying, what the data streams are saying, and then go from there. I will tell you that was not an uncommon problem to have a check engine light in that vehicle.
Right, exactly. I've got a 95, and so far it's been doing good. It's past few years it's been doing real good. So, but every once in a while it just pop on, and usually it was the EGR, but the DPF sensor. But they can come on for many, many different reasons.
Right.
So
I would not just go throw a mass airflow sensor in it just to try to fix it.
Right. And if you do, be sure and get a good quality one, because we've seen remanufactured ones that are worse than the ones you're pulling out. So, which
in your case, if it looks like it's fairly new, that could be the problem if they put a subpar unit in it, and that's hard to say. You probably don't know the history of that to know.
Right.
Well, that's true. I don't. It looks great, but
is it a Ford sensor, or can you tell?
I'm sorry, say again.
Is it a Ford sensor, or can you tell?
It is a Ford sensor.
Okay. Then if it's a Ford sensor, it should be good. Now, if it's the original sensor that was in the car and maybe somebody cleaned it up, that would be hard to tell. When you bought it, did you get any service records or anything with it?
I got a few, but it didn't mention anything about that. Now, one of the things that I've done with the truck, of course, is replace the thermostat, flush the radiator belts, hoses. I always do that if I buy a used vehicle, change the oil, obviously, and new spark plugs, and the little truck just runs great. Past emissions, just fantastic.
Great. Okay.
It was real clean.
Good.
And but the mileage is off, and I know that the alcohol on the gas is going to affect that, because this vehicle was designed for 100% gasoline. And but I've had these little trucks before, bought them new, and 20, 21, 22 miles a gallon around town wasn't unusual. This little truck gets anywhere from 15 to 17.
It's pretty normal for that one.
I'm going to say that's normal.
Yeah.
Mine gets about 18 best.
Yeah. And you'll drop some in the winter with our fuel. Exactly. And with the light being on, you're going to drop even more because everything's not working correctly.
Right. Now, has yours got 373 tail gears? Probably.
I believe so. Yeah.
That was pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had 3 of them, and they all had that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, have somebody get a good scan of that. In fact, out there where you're at, have Extreme and/or Ken in Aurora at Ken Rackley at TuneTech. Either one of those guys can look at that for you.
All right, John. I appreciate it. What do you mean out there? What do you mean out there?
Out in Franktown. Out there, man. You're out there.
Yeah. We know you got 3 feet of snow the other day.
Exactly right. I saw the pictures this last week. I know what you got going on.
Those pictures are from Loveland.
Those were the dirt pictures with no snow?
Yeah, exactly. Good talking to you, Dan. Appreciate it very much. All right, let's see. Dell's been holding for a while. Dell, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing great.
That's good. You're talking about stuff. I just bought an 02 Monte Carlo SS.
Okay.
And this thing's got everything in it but the kitchen sink, and you got a trunk big enough to put 2 of them in. And I'm going to be a month to Sunday trying to figure all these things out.
Got a lot on it. Good for you.
Yeah, it's got all the controls for the OnStar and the phone. And
now you remember we had the OnStar guy on a few weeks ago. Remember, you get a free 90-day trial of OnStar.
Yeah. I've got to call them. I just
push the button. You don't even have to call them. Just push the button in the car. They'll handle it right there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to get that done. And then also, I took it in and had it switched over to AMSOIL, and then they put nitrogen in the tires. And right after that, I had a low tire light come on.
Got it.
And I cannot get that sucker to go off. And if you go through the radio to turn it off through the radio, it doesn't even come up with the tire.
It's not reading the sensor then, it sounds like.
A what?
Does it come up with any pressures for any tires?
No.
That system is kind of early, so I don't know if it would or not.
Somebody needs to look at that.
Yeah, because it's probably got a sensor or something, like John was saying.
Dale, with that, I got to run up against the break.
Okay, have a good
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. All right, we've got Marty on the phone. We're going to talk about some Eclipse sunshades here in just a few minutes. Menard, we'll take you first, though, before we take Marty. You've been holding for a while. Don't go away. We'll get to you guys as soon as we come back. Second hour Drive Radio coming up next. Don't go anywhere. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com Email your questions and comments, download previous programs, and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
The big game hunting season is upon us, and archery season is in full swing. Hi, this is Scott Watley with Sportsman of Colorado. Join us Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. We'll bring you local outfitters, experts in archery, muzzleloading, and rifle hunting, and much more. Looking for a place to hunt pheasant and waterfowl? We've got you covered. Want to book a trophy deer or elk hunt with a reliable outfitter? We can help. If you like the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays at 1, right here on KLZ 560.
John Rush here on the next Rush to Reason. Do you know we have a sexual identity crisis brewing in America? Ann Paulk from Restored Hope Network will talk about restoring sexual identity. We'll have traffic and weather updates with David Leach, the strident conservative, and of course, we'll take all of your calls, answer all your questions. That's the next Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver.
Listen live at KLZ560radio.com.
KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is USA Radio News. I'm Chris Barnes. The government in Belgium raising a terror alert in Brussels because of what it calls a serious and imminent threat. Citizens urged to avoid places where large crowds gather as authorities are continuing to conduct raids. Connected to last week's terror attacks in Paris, word is a man believed involved in those has been arrested in Brussels today. That, as Arizona Congresswoman Martha McSally says in the weekly GOP address, the Obama ISIS fighting strategy is still not a plan for success.
Our strategy must include utilizing all elements of national power. We must unleash American air power to destroy their leadership, command and control, logistics, and their means of financing their terror.
Representative McSally herself, an Air Force veteran.
For 17 months, ISIS has been exporting black market oil to fund their operations, and we just finally started striking the fuel trucks with the mighty A-10 Warthog, the airplane I flew.
This is USA Radio News.
Warning, if you or a loved one are struggling with drugs and alcohol, there's something you need to know. Thoughts like, I can stop anytime, I'm not hurting anyone, it's my life, are lies. These lies cause you to drink or get high even when you've promised yourself or someone else you wouldn't. You may feel all alone, but you're not. We're here to help. Take the first step. Call us today at 800-461-3329 for a free no-obligation assessment. Your insurance may even cover the full cost of treatment. Please don't wait. Call 800-461-3329. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Call American Drug Treatment Centers to speak with our trained staff. We'll walk you through getting yourself or a loved one into treatment even if they won't admit there's a problem. The truth is, drugs and alcohol want you dead. Don't let them win. One simple call will start you on the road to recovery. Call 800-461-3329 now. It will be the best thing you ever do. Call 800-461-3329. 800-461-3329.
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a full barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
What's this?
Because Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, In 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before tap dead center.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Got a question for the experts? Then give them a call, 303-477-5600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
And welcome to Drive Radio. John Rush host Ken Rackley from TuneTech along with me, and we have Mindy and Larry on the other side of the glass taking all of your calls and making sure we run this show smoothly like we do every single solid Saturday. And if it is Sunday afternoon, which a lot of you just tuning in on a Sunday will know, you cannot call us. You can email us. Go to drive-radio.com. You can find a contact us link. Just click that. Send us whatever the message is, and whatever question you've got, we'll answer it for you. And I'd love to hear from you, so you can do that. But you cannot call in on Sunday because there's nobody here to answer the phone. But if it's Saturday, call us now, 303-477-5600. I should say it is Saturday now, so call us. I just mentioned that for all of our Sunday listeners because we have a lot of you that listen on Sundays to the last 2 hours of the program. And if you missed the first hour, you can find that via podcast by going again to drive-radio.com and find all of our podcasts right there. So we've got Marty Schulte coming up in just a moment. Before that, though, Menard, you've been holding quite a while. Let me get you going here so I can get to Marty. What's going on, Menard?
Good morning, gentlemen.
How we doing? Is it Menard or Maynard?
Maynard.
Maynard. Okay, sorry. I should have said that right the first time.
Oh, that's okay. I'm called a lot of things.
Well, I got it right now. What's going on, Maynard?
I just wanted to tell you a couple of things. First is my favorite device on an automobile I've ever owned. I own the automobile right now, as a matter of fact. It's an FJ Cruiser from Toyota.
Yep.
And have you had the occasion to be driving south about 7:30 in the morning, come up to a stop sign and look to the east to see if anything's coming, and the sun hits you right in the eye and you can't see a thing?
Yeah, it's a fact.
Well, Toyota has solved that problem in my FJ. They installed a small sun visor above the driver's side door and one above the passenger side door.
It's good, yeah.
And
that's
I
right.
can
Yep.
rotate those little visors down and blocks the sun, and I love it.
Yeah, those side visors are really nice. You're right about that. Why did they only do it on that vehicle?
Yeah, because they got short
I
windows
don't
anyway.
know.
Yeah.
I also own a Chevrolet Silverado, and I was driving it the other day on my way to the donut shop, and looked out the window, and of course I was blind, and almost tore the headliner out of that pickup trying to find that visor.
Why can't I find it?
Exactly. Snagging your fingernails on the headliner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why GM didn't figure that out, or Ford or somebody.
That's a good question.
But, that was the handiest device ever known to man.
Yeah, high-end vehicles have those pretty regularly, but yeah, you're right. Not too many other ones do besides your FJ.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to tell you, I really wanted to thank you for alerting me to Paul Leuenberger.
Oh, great.
I got with him this year, and he saved me a bundle, so I'm a big fan of Paul Leuenberger.
Paul is a fantastic guy. Any of you out there looking for insurance, please go to our website, drive-radio.com. You can look at the sponsors there. Paul's contact information is all there. Paul Leuenberger from American National. Yeah, he does all of my stuff. Maynard, and great guy. You won't find a nicer guy than Paul.
You're right about that. I'll expect my check in the mail for the commercial.
There you go. There you go, Maynard. I appreciate it very much. Thanks so much for listening.
Contact Paul on that.
Well, yeah, no, Paul is a great guy, and he's going to be out at the auto show this weekend. He's there pretty much every single time that show comes around this coming Thanksgiving. So the big car show that'll be here for, I think it's is it Thanksgiving Day or just Friday and Saturday after? Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday,
it
Sunday.
might be Thanksgiving Day.
Check and see. We'll look at that and see. In the meantime, let's get Marty coming up here right now from Eclipse Sunshades. Marty, welcome. What's going on today, sir?
Hi, guys. Not much. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, I thank you. We appreciate it very much. So I promoted you before you even came on today, talking about how the damaging rays of our sun, especially at our altitude, really can wreak havoc on the interior vehicles. But you've got something that will help that out immensely, don't you?
Absolutely. It's, the sun at the high altitude in Colorado really can damage the dash and is really intense on the inside of the vehicle. But the Eclipse sunshade is a self-retracting and self-storing sunshade.
So hang on. So time out. Instead of having this big foldable, big cardboard looking thing that a lot of people will flip up in the dash on hot days, or even this time of the year when we've got the people forget about this, but with our southern exposure this time of the year, we're actually closer to the sun. It's bouncing, but we are closer to the sun. The rays this time of the year actually are as intense as they are in the summertime, are they not?
Absolutely.
So instead of having this big cold, fold up cardboard thing, you've got an alternative?
That's exactly what it is. The sunshade that most people are familiar with are these cardboard or these foldable style of shades that you store in the backseat of the car and have to install and deploy every time you want to use it. The thing with the Eclipse sunshade is it's actually mounted inside the vehicle. So it's mounted to the driver's side and passenger side of the windshield, and it's a retractable style. So you pull it from each side of the windshield, secure it at the center, and you're done. The classic sunshade will take you maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds to take out and put up, and ours will take you 2 or 3 seconds. It's always there. You get full coverage. It's custom fit for the vehicle, and the real benefit of the Eclipse sunshade is the full coverage along with the ease of use.
Got it. Now you guys sent me one to try out. I will say I haven't installed that yet. I'm going to do that this weekend, so I'll get that put in. I'll give everybody a report back here in the next couple of weeks as to how that works. The one thing I'm curious about, and Marty, answer this for me: how do you handle or do you worry about if there's any sagging or anything like that? In other words, some windshields have a lot of curve, others do not. How do you handle those ones that have a lot of curvature to them?
Well, the style of the Eclipse sunshade really prevents that from being too big of an issue. Some of the windshields are more curved than others and are wider than others. But the fact that it's pulled from each side of the windshield kind of prevents that from happening. The shade also closes behind the mirror, so the mirror kind of holds the shade up. Just naturally supports the shade. And when using it on a wider vehicle with a wider windshield or with more curve, the best thing to do is just pull the visors down, just for a little extra support.
Okay, that makes total sense. Now,
there are some that go from one side to the other, but these ones I think you have more of the issue with sagging. But just the fact that it's mounted on both sides and pulled at the center really prevents that from being too big of an issue.
Okay, so on a really, really wide windshield, do you have to have super long arms, or do you just how do you do that? In other words, does it have the ability? I mean, do you have to grab both sides at the same time to pull it and attach it in the middle, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. And that's one thing that we're trying to address, but it is can be a drawback if you're a smaller person. Is reaching all the way across to the passenger side of the windshield.
Got it, because they retract back in. So basically, these things get stored along the A-pillar, correct?
Exactly. You mount it directly to the windshield, just as close to that A-pillar as possible.
Okay. Now, when they're mounted and retracted, do they distract from your driving? Do they look hideous? Is it one of those things that somebody's going to be looking at the entire time they're driving, or do they pretty much tuck away where you don't even notice them?
They really tuck away nicely. The biggest thing that we're concerned with is making sure that it doesn't impede the driver's vision. So we need it to be as thin as possible and just as unobtrusive as possible. So when it's not in use, it's about 1.5 inches or 2 inches thick. So the way I think of it is just adding about 2 inches or 1.5 inches to the A-pillar, and that's how much of the vision it takes away from. But most people don't have the issue with it. Maybe some vehicles, but it really is something that just stays there. It's out of the way. You really can't tell. And like I said, it's always there for you to use. Just
and once you get used to it, it's going to be there. It sits, and then off you go. What do you think? Because there's two sides to this. You're going to save on wear and tear from the inside of the vehicle when it comes to the sun rays and what it does to the actual dash and seats and components and so on. What about the heat, though, on that side of the fence in the summer months? Does it cut back on the heating inside? In other words, you don't have to use your air conditioning quite as much when you first climb in. Is that another benefit?
Well, it definitely reduces the heat. We've found that it reduces the interior heat by about 20 degrees. Initially, if you hear 20 degrees, you might not think that's a whole lot, but really it does make a significant difference.
Yeah, that would take the interior temperature from, say 120, 130 down to, 100 to 110. That's a big difference.
That's a big difference, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've seen them as high as 160.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Black car.
So your wear and tear on the insides of the vehicle using your product is is significant, including, and one thing I've noticed, especially on newer vehicles, because they're always venting off a lot of the chemicals and things that are made with the interiors. And so in turn, you usually end up with a film on the inside of the windows, especially on those hotter days. My gut feeling is your product would also reduce some of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because it prevents the car from getting too hot, but it also, like you said, protects the dash. When the shade's used, it really covers most of the dash.
Got it.
So it prevents, just wear and tear, and like you said, the chemicals from kind of coming out. So it does have that dual purpose of the heat and the protection.
Got it. Awesome. All right. How can people find them, Marty? Where do they go?
You can find us at eclipsesunshades.net.
Okay.
So make sure you put the S at the end.
Okay.
And that's our website. You can order online. We have photos and information, and that's really the best way to get in touch with us.
Great. I will tell you what I will do right now. So everybody listening, I will put that on our Facebook page. And Marty, if you don't mind, I'll shove it up on the website later this weekend also. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And I'd love to give your listeners a discount.
Let's do it.
Discount code.
All right. So how does that work?
So when ordering online, enter Drive Radio 10.
Drive Radio 10.
Right.
Okay. Drive Radio 10.
Exactly. And if you enter Drive Radio 10 at checkout, you'll receive a 10% discount on your Eclipse Sunshade.
All right. Putting that in right now. Drive Radio 10 for a 10% discount. I'm putting that on Facebook as we speak. And that's up, and there we go. So that's done. All right, Marty, man, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for having us.
You bet. No, thank you guys. We'll send some folks your way and see if we can get some interior temperatures reduced.
There we go.
That sounds fantastic.
All right, Marty. Appreciate it very much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right. Thanks, John. You too.
You bet. Appreciate it very much. All right. That opens up our lines. Give us a call. 303-477-5600. What's your favorite car feature? Now, we just had one that's an add-on, which I haven't gotten mine installed yet, Ken, but I will. I actually saw these at an event that these guys were at, and I will tell you right now firsthand, this isn't some cheesy product that you're going to be disappointed in. This is high-quality stuff. Compared to the silver fold-out things that I see a lot of people throw in the back seat and then install, when they get someplace and park for the day.
Right.
This is not that at all. These actually work extremely well. They're very high quality. They're lightweight. So it's not like you're pulling a set of curtains across the front of your windshield. It's not that at all. They are very slick. They work very well. And these guys have done a really good job of making these vehicle specific. So this isn't sort of a, one size fits all. It is vehicle specific. You need to know the make, the model, even what's on the rear view mirror for some of the late model vehicles that might have some of the driving adaptive things that are built into the rear view mirror itself. You need to know all of that before you actually place your order. But right now, get a 10% discount on those. Just go to eclipsesunshades.net, Drive Radio 10 for a 10% discount.
Great.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's do this. We'll come right back. We'll take some more calls. 303-477-5600. Questions. We've got answers. What's your favorite car feature? My wife's are heated seats and steering wheel.
Yep.
Which I think is this time of year, I would agree with.
You betcha.
So we'll talk about more of those. We'll come right back. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the customer your driver was trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually anticipate maintenance items before they become major repairs or ultimately breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
Today's cars and trucks are very complicated and can be expensive to repair. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help you to understand the complex nature of repairs. We specialize in computer repairs. Maybe you've tried another shop and you still have the same problem. Let our highly experienced technicians at Arvada West Auto help you. Call 303-422-1065 or stop by and see us at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada. Or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com, 303-422-1065.
I want my mileage back. Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. Colorado Select Car Care Centers present 560 ways to care for your car. Especially important this time of year is to have your brakes checked. The braking system is the vehicle's most important safety item, yet people ignore them until they squeak. Any Colorado Select Car Care Center will gladly check your brakes for you. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of shop owners who are ASE certified master technicians, driven
10 seconds, guys.
customer service with a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. Find a Colorado Select Car Care Center near you at coloradoselect.org.
All right, John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We've got about an hour and a half, a little bit over that, of Drive Radio left. We've blown through about half the show already, Ken.
Amazing how fast it goes.
This is like the fastest 3 hours of your Saturday ever.
That's right.
Unless you're trying to get something on the garage.
Well, or you're trying to get something done before you have to come to the radio show.
That's true,
You
too.
know, that
Then
3
time
hours
flies
goes
also.
in, a minute and a half. Yeah. That's
If I could buy time,
I
think I would.
I think a lot of my revenue would go there.
Yeah, I think I would too. I'd buy more time if I could.
Exactly.
Some are going to say, John, you're crazy. Well, yeah, I kind of have a crazy life. I'd buy more time if I could.
Yeah.
When you're here 3 hours a day, I could use a little more time some days. Larry's in there laughing at me. Like, because you're your own worst enemy, John. Yeah, I know I am. Jim and Elizabeth, you are next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, first off, the feature I like the best is the heated mirrors.
Oh, yes. Yes. I forgot about those.
I haven't had none in the car, but I've run a 972 cat loader and a 980 loader, and they both had them, and I really miss them now.
Yeah, no, they are handy to have even on your automobile truck, especially your plow truck. They are really handy on a plow truck.
Only when you have to see.
Yeah, because you do a lot of backing up in a plow truck, and man, is it nice being able to see.
Yes, exactly. Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's a
okay. I just bought about a week ago today. I bought a 07 Buick LaCrosse, and I noticed when the transmission heats up, I didn't drive it long enough to get it heated up when I put a test drive on it. But I noticed the next day when I was driving it a ways, sometimes it'll shift into second and third kind of hard. And then if I take off from a light real fast, it kind of slips and then bangs, and I don't know if that's something I have to be worried about or what.
Yes, it is. I would get that looked at. That is not normal. Now, let me rephrase that. That is a normal problem on that car, but one you need to get looked at. I'll make sure that I say that correctly. So it's not normal to have it, but it's a normal, frequent problem on that car.
All right. I was wondering about that.
Is the check engine light on?
No check engine light, huh?
Oh,
That's
good.
what I was wondering.
That might come on and indicating a problem there.
Yeah, I would. You're out in Elizabeth. I'd get that thing over to Dennis at Extreme. You're closest to him. Have him run a scan check on that vehicle. Have him drive it. Feel it, see what's going on. But yeah, that's something you're definitely going to want to get looked at right away.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Because that's not a cheap transmission to fix, is why I say that, and why you want to catch it early.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Okay, well, shoot, that's good news. I guess at least I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it is, and at least you know now you can get it taken care of. What'd you have to give for the car, if I can ask?
85.
No, you're okay. You're not in it too bad.
How many miles?
66,000.
Okay, so that's good. Low mile. You know, and at 66, it's doubtful that it needs a transmission. But if you keep driving it without addressing this, it could need one.
Okay, yeah. All righty.
Okay.
Well, I sure appreciate your guys' advice on that.
You're very welcome, Jim. Just tell them Drive Radio sent you. You can find them at 10274 South Dransfeld Road. It's Extreme Auto Repair. And again, they're real close to you there in Elizabeth. You can find them. They're way south of the station here, but you'll find them. Not a hard place to find at all. One line open, 303-477-5600. Stephen Thornton, you are next, sir.
How you doing, guys?
Good, Steve. Welcome.
Good. Had new tires and rims put on my truck and found out that one of the ball joints is bad on the upper right. Is a ball joint something that you need to replace both sides, or can I just go after the one that's bad?
What are you driving, first of all?
F350, 2002.
So it's a 2002 F350, and just the right upper is bad? Just the right upper? Is that what you said? The right upper is bad?
Yeah.
Well, let's say this. In that particular truck, to pull all that apart to get that upper one in, put both of them in that side.
Upper and lower, yeah.
Yeah, do both upper and lower. Don't do just the upper. Go ahead and do the upper and the lower. Now, if the left side is good and tight, I wouldn't tell you to go across the other side and do the left side. If they're good and tight, call it good, because you're double the labor to go over and do the other side. There's no cost savings doing all four at one time is my point, other than the alignment after you're done that they'll have to do. That's about the only thing you're saving.
Okay.
Okay, and then other thing on that truck to make sure, whoever does that job, use the best ball joints you can buy.
Yep.
Don't cheap out on the ball joints, but whatever the premium best ball joint they make for that vehicle, buy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen so many people try to cheap out on the parts side of the fence on those, and you're back doing it a couple of years later because they didn't use good ball joints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is a truck I want to keep the rest of my life, so I'm hoping I can just
buy the best ball joints you can
parts.
buy. And here's the deal. If that's the case, if it is a truck where you're going to keep that thing for a really, really long time, does it have oversized tires on it, or are they all stock?
I just went from 16s to 18s on it, but they're a little bit thinner than what was on there originally.
Okay, that's good. How many miles are on the truck total?
147,000.
Put all four in.
Okay.
If you're going to keep the truck forever and it's got 150K on it right now, just go ahead and spend the money, get all four put in, get the thing aligned properly, call it good. You'll probably never replace them again in your lifetime.
Okay.
I would do that.
That's what I need.
That's how I would do it.
Thank you very much.
If it were mine, Ken, that's what I would do at that point.
Yep, get it all handled now.
Just do it now and get it out of the way.
Yep.
303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. One more call before our next break. Mike, you are up next.
Hi, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. Two options that I think are great, and one of them probably isn't an option anymore. ABS. One of the things that I think is wonderful on cars is an option that is unobtrusive, increases the performance of the car, increases the safety, and you don't notice it's there.
You are right. Nobody's mentioned that yet because we're so used to it. You are 100% correct on that one.
Yep.
The second option is a competent driver.
That's a hard one to find, though.
That's totally optional.
That's a very hard one to find, fellas. So I leave you with that today. Great show as usual.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it very much.
That can vary from day to day, too.
Yes, it can.
Minute to minute, hour by hour.
Yes, it can. Very much so.
Yeah.
And what I will say, and I think Mike would agree with this, the equipment doesn't make the driver any better.
No, right, exactly.
That is still involving the person behind the wheel.
Yep.
And one thing I will add to that is there are, even with all the features we're talking about, some of these are great features and they keep you less distracted. In other words, that they're distractless driving aids, I should say.
Right.
There are some, though, where they are distracted aids. Be careful. A lot of the things that we now have in the infotainment system can become very much of a distraction if you're not careful. What I mean by that is you better make sure you've got all your things set on the front side when you go to leave, because if you're messing with that stuff as you're driving, it's a distraction. If it's all set and it's ready to go and it's working and you control it all from the steering wheel, fantastic.
Yeah.
But that takes some time to make that happen.
Right, exactly.
So make sure you understand the vehicle.
Like the GPS in my truck, it won't allow you, if you're in drive, even if you're stopped, it will not allow you to change anything.
Which isn't such a bad deal.
Right, exactly. You have to actually have it in park, and
so you pull over to get all your settings in, and then you go. Not a bad feature. All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick break. Larry's screening some calls as we speak. 303-477-5600. A couple lines open. We'll be right back. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Today's cars and trucks are very complicated and can be expensive to repair. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help you to understand the complex nature of repairs. We specialize in computer repairs. Maybe you've tried another shop and you still have the same problem. Let our highly experienced technicians at Arvada West Auto help you. Call 303-422-1065 or stop by and see us at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. 303-422-1065.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
John Rush here. I want to talk to you again about your pets. And pets are very much a part of our family. It's one of the things that we talk about a lot amongst ourselves. There's very few pet owners I've ever met where the person hates the pet. Because typically, if that's the case, you don't own one. If you own a pet, they're a part of the family, right? It doesn't really matter whether it's large animal, small animal, cats, dogs, birds, you name it. They're a part of the family, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely. Our Tucker, our little Shih Tzu, he's with us everywhere.
Okay, so in your case, Dan, that's a dog. I mean, I've got a yellow lab. Doesn't require a lot of grooming. I mean, you can wash them and do those sorts of things, but yours actually needs some grooming from time to time, correct?
Oh, yes, and a Shih Tzu has to have the proper Shih Tzu cut.
Okay, guess what? Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center will do just that. They've got a full grooming department. Actually, I've been in the center, and the cool part about this is a 2-level veterinarian clinic. So you walk in on the main level, you can drop off your little Fido, whatever your animal's name is. And the cool thing about it too, this is something just as a side note. Most of the time when you walk in and you're trying to fill out paperwork, typically you've got a leash and it's on your arm and you're trying to fight the dog or whatever you have with as far as a pet goes. You're doing all that while you're filling out the paperwork, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, guess what these guys thought of? There's little hooks on the wall. So when you walk into the counter and you actually start filling out all the paperwork, you can actually put the leash on the hook and you're set and you can actually stop and fill out paperwork. Amazing.
That's actually thinking of the customer first.
Thank you. That's exactly what they do at Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center. The phone number 303-708-8050. Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle are the owners there. They're great long-term supporters of Drive Radio, and I would encourage you, please support them. Take your pets there. You will not find a better experience at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. The web address, LoneTreeVet.com.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is, they would have preferred to do the preventive maintenance instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We have one line open. Again, the phone number, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Give us your questions, and we'll answer it as best we can. Jimmy, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing? I had water in the fuel gauge came on my F-350, 2004. So I took her in. I drained the water, got about 8 ounces of water out. Went ahead and changed both filters, fuel filters.
Okay.
And it seems like my injector is kind of sticking, so I went on Diesel Forum, and they're raving about Hot Shot Secret. It's called Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator, which is supposed to unstick your fuel injector. So
yeah,
we get about 1,500 RPMs. It kind of does like a death wobble. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like shakes. I put it in cruise control around 1,500, and it kind of shakes around. So I feel like I have a stuck injector.
Which you may very well have. There was another additive that, in fact, Larry, do you remember the additive that somebody was mentioning a few weeks ago that has to do with the stiction? Maybe it was Dorsey that was actually on with me that day. And I've done some research. In fact, I've sent a few emails on this particular additive, and frankly, I have not heard anything back from the company that I sent it to, which leads me to believe I'm not too impressed so far. So right now, I don't know I don't know who you would use to actually, as far as an additive goes with the stiction problems in some of those, the stiction additives in some of those Ford diesels, which I actually sent somebody an email and said, listen, I've got, several of those trucks still in my fleet. I'd be happy to do some testing, report back on the radio how it works. And, haven't heard anything back from anybody.
Yeah, I also used Seafoam.
Okay.
In the fuel, I use Seafoam in the fuel. A can of Seafoam with 16 gallons. It's an ounce per gallon. And then the Hot Shot Secret actually is an oil additive. So I changed the oil.
Right.
And put that in there.
So did it work?
And it works. It at the beginning, cleaned out, worked. It wasn't doing the death wobble, and then next day it started doing it again. But
so you're going to put an injector in it, it sounds like.
Yeah, their thing is, give it 4,000 miles, guaranteed. So it worked at first, and then when I took out the fuel filters and stuff, it seemed like pretty bad diesel fuel. So it was pretty dirty. Filters were pretty clogged up. But I got North Dakota up in the oil field, so it gets pretty dirty up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, all you can do is try it. The problem is when that injector's sticking, you run the risk of, if that thing gets to leaking too bad and continues to do so, and then hydrolocks a cylinder, you don't want that either.
Yeah, then
you're really screwed.
Then I got a lot of money then.
So I tell you what, if they're saying 4,000 miles, I guess the question I would ask them is, are they going to guarantee anything if you go 4,000 miles and have an injector that doesn't clean up, and are they going to handle the repair if you go 4,000 miles?
No, they just guarantee the product, which is like $70 for a gallon.
I tell you, if it were me personally, how many miles are on the truck?
Got 130.
How long are you going to keep it?
Well, it's my oil filled truck, so I do a lot of driving in it. Not really sure.
But I
might get rid of it.
If you're going to get rid of it, then you could probably just run it a little bit and see what happens. The problem is if it gets really bad, you won't be able to sell the truck because you already know what a motor, what an engine costs for that particular truck. So we won't even get into that. Even in the condition it is right now, it will not sell very well if you've got any kind of an engine miss in it. So frankly, you're kind of at that position where if it cleans up in 4,000 miles and you can then get rid of it, great, you're in great shape. If not, you're going to put injectors in it to even get the vehicle sold.
Yeah, so you want me to put a Cummins in here with an Allison transmission and forget this engine?
Well, I'm not a big, I own 3 6-liters, so I won't tell you that I'm totally against them. I've got 3 out of the 6 I originally had. I've got 3 left, and we're gonna, they're paid for, so I'll keep running them as long as I can. And frankly, once you get some of the things done to them, the EGR cooler, get the injector thing solved, and so on. If you do a few of those things, You know what? Am I going to condemn the motor? No, because they'll run for a long time if you care for them. Are they as reliable as the late model diesels we've got now, be it a Cummins, a Duramax, or even the new 6.7 Ford? No, they're not. We already know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll get a few thousand miles on it. Report back to you guys and give you my input.
Yeah, I'd like to know I'd like to know even on my own side of the fence for my own 6 liters. I mean, it would be nice to find a product that actually works. Again, the other company that we've had some guys calling in and talking about, I've emailed them several times just trying to get a sample. Say, send me a bottle. I'll try it out. If it works, I'll talk about it. And I can't even get a response back from the company. That's not too impressive to me.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll let you keep on listening to you guys.
Sounds good, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Thank you.
On spec, I'll definitely call you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, report back to us. Let us know how that's going. Lines open, 303-477-5600. Scott, you are up next. What's going on, sir?
Hi, appreciate both the shows.
Thank you.
My question is on a 1980 Jeep CJ5. It's got an MP 3236 progressive carb on it, and I can't get it to pass emissions. My question is, it's my uncle's, and when he first brought it in, it's the two-stage idle test they do, and it's failing at idle. But according to the numbers, when he first brought it in, it was at about 1,000 at hydrocarbons.
Okay.
And then I leaned it out, and it went down to 650.
Okay.
I said, okay, and I rejetted it, and I went from the jets. The big jet, I went from a 75 to a 50, and the little jet from a 60 to a 50, both the idle jets.
It's probably real lean now.
Well, that's the thing is I took it back in, and they said I went to 800.
Well, your hydrocarbons went up?
From 600 to 800 after you changed the jets.
And I went down pretty far.
Yeah, what did your CO do?
I'm not sure. I don't have the paper.
Okay, that's what I'd be looking at.
And those are big, big steps.
You're right.
You went a long, long way on that. I mean, typically speaking, even at our altitude, if you're going to do any jet changing, you step it down maybe 2 to 4. In other words, you'd go from a 72 to a 70 or maybe a 68.
Yeah.
That's about it. Typically, you don't have to change much more than that. And those are getting tough to make pass emissions, period, just because they were dirty to begin with. Even with everything operating properly, they were dirty.
Well, and this one's a 1980, correct? Yeah. So you've only got an idle test anyway. It's not a 2,500 RPM. So you're not really worried about the 2,500 with the jetting. Your idle mixture screws should take care of your idle.
Because that's all that's doing it anyway.
Monoxide. And yeah. And if your hydrocarbons are above what they should be, then a lot of cases there could be ignition, timing, VGR, vacuum leaks.
Correct.
I mean,
what I can't remember. What's the minimum? Is it like 450 or something?
400.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Is it like 1.5 and 400 on the? Well, yeah. Anyway,
it didn't matter.
But the hydrocarbons are failing. So, if your CO is very low, that would usually indicate a lean misfire, or if you're, if
or you're just way lean on the jetting.
Right. Exactly.
Or I went too lean on the jetting.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's what I would do. If it were me, I would go back to the original jets that you had in it, and then I would check. You should be able to, Ken's point, you should be able on the idle side of the fence to adjust timing, make sure there's no vacuum leaks. You should be able to get everything done that you need to do through idle mixture screws and timing to get that below the 400.
Yeah. There's a thing. I've been using one of those like Gunson color tunes. I don't know if you've heard of those.
What is it?
It's called like a Gunson color tune, and you can see the combustion color in there. So if it's like yellow, it's too rich, and if it's blue, it's kind of, I don't know much about carbs, so I got to use as much of a crutch as I can.
Sure.
But, and I can't pin it down any far. And I know when I leaned it out with that 75 and as lean as it would go, and I went down to 650. So that's why I just assumed, I guess, just rejet it. But I've got a 65 jet that I could put in it.
When you're like we were saying, the jets only adjust your cruise mixture. Your idle mixture screws at the bottom are what's going to adjust your idle mixture. So your jetting isn't really affecting as much of the idle as you would think it would. So your idle mixture screws, provided they are responding, as you run them in, they lean out. As you back them out, they richen up. That's where your main focus should be.
And the way to really do that is to have somebody with a 5-gas analyzer where you can actually be doing all of that while you're looking at the analyzer, not necessarily at this color tune thing that you're looking at, really more of what's coming out the tailpipe, so you know what to adjust timing wise and or fuel mixture to get that thing down below the 400. It's going to be, I'll be honest with you, it's going to be tight. That's why they've got the standards where they're at, because their goal, there's no secrets here, their goal is to get that vehicle off the road.
Yeah,
I know it. So, yeah.
And that's not me saying that, by the way. I think it's a great vehicle, and I don't necessarily, frankly, a 1980, for the little bit that's going to get driven, it ought to be excluded from the emissions program in the first place. That's my view. You're not going to get that same view from the health department, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, totally.
It is such a minor factor in what's going on today that, frankly, the whole emissions program could be scrapped, and you could put a safety inspection program in for all I care, and I'd be the first proponent of that, because I think the emissions program today is doing nothing other than taking money out of our pocket.
Yeah, thank you. Well, all right. Well, at least we're on the same page with that. So I guess I'll give it a shot. If not, I might just tell them to put a 4-liter in it. But
well, there you go. Yeah.
What engine's in it, by the way?
The 4.2.
Straight 6, yeah, the 4.2.
You can put the Mopar fuel injection kit on that without changing it out, without changing the whole motor out. Yeah,
the thing though too with it is, I'm kind of doing it as a favor for my uncle, and he doesn't have a lot of money.
Got it. Sure.
So I'm trying to help him.
Got it. Makes sense.
I've done a 4-liter swap, so I guess if he can't get it, then maybe I'll just tell him to save his money.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But you should be able to get it. Just keep going. You're on the right track. Just go back to where you were with the Jets, get the timing and all that adjusted properly, and I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it licked.
Yep.
Okay, really appreciate your
You're
help.
very welcome. Thank you very much for the phone call. Gary, hang tight. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. We've got a couple of lines open. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Hello, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with Ken's and Leslie Distributing, your local BG products distributor. Back again this week with your BG Tech Tip. This week, we're going to talk about tires, specifically winter tires. For winter driving, the Rubber Manufacturers Association recommends a MS rated tire. This will be identified by the letters M and S with a pictograph of a mountain with a snowflake on one of the sidewalls of the tire. In Colorado, studded snow tires are legal and often recommended. However, there are several special precautions that must be taken when utilizing studded snow tires. First, only new tires should be fitted with studs. And when studding tires on a front-wheel drive vehicle, all 4 tires should always be studded. Secondly, it is very important that you break in the new studded snow tires. For the first 200 to 300 miles, it is important to avoid aggressive driving to include acceleration and braking. This will allow the studs to set permanently in the tire. Third, it is important to ensure that you rotate the tires correctly. There are actually as many as 7 different tire rotation patterns, but it is critical to ensure that when rotating studded snow tires, the tire rolling direction should never be changed. This can be achieved by rotating the tires from front to rear on the same side of the vehicle. Lastly, it is important to note that studded tires may actually decrease vehicle performance in many driving conditions and should not be used year-round in our climate. So take care of your tires, and your tires will take care of your car and keep everybody safe in the harshest Colorado driving conditions. Thanks again, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with BG. We'll talk to you again next week.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all four wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
I want my mileage back. Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called
15 seconds, guys.
In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We've got one segment left of this hour, then it's into hour number 3 of Drive Radio. Gary, you are up next. What's going on, sir?
Hi, John.
Hey,
I have
good
a question.
Morning, Gary.
Yeah, good to hear you too. I've noticed I've got a 2015 Kia Forte, about 8,000 miles on it. Just got some snow tires and got the oil changed. and I've noticed a reduction in my miles per gallon from about 34 down to 30, and I'm guessing it might be, obviously I'm using the heater a little more, and I did put the snow tires on. Is that common? And if so, would it be worth putting an additive, like a one-time additive in my gas tank to do something about it?
Not this early in the process of your vehicle. No, most of that's just coming from the fact that we've got a different blend of fuel during the winter months. You're going to have more warm-up time in the winter months. Things are going to run richer in the winter months. All of that's going to decrease fuel economy.
Okay, I didn't realize they switch over the gas mix without sort of notifying you at the gas station.
It just automatically happens.
Okay, so a reduction of 3 or 4 miles per gallon is no big deal.
That's pretty well, especially the higher up you go. In other words, if you're driving a vehicle that gets 20 miles to the gallon, you might only lose 10%, which is 2 miles to the gallon. If you're getting 40 miles to the gallon, then 3 to 4 is to be expected.
Okay, that was it, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday.
Gary, you do the same. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. I really appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you soon.
You bet. Take care. All right, let's go to Doug, who is up next. We have some lines open, 303-477-5600. Doug, what's happening, sir?
Is there still a quiz, or can I just get in?
Whatever you want to do. You got the floor, man. It's all yours.
Okay. I don't know if these options have been mentioned. I got 3 here. Tilt steering.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Power seats.
Yep.
And heated mirrors.
Heated mirrors got mentioned. Nobody mentioned nobody mentioned power seats or tilt steering yet. We had somebody talk about memory seats, but not actually power seats. So yeah, those are good ones.
I guess I'm a little old school. Okay. 2001 rodeo, about 148,000 miles. There's 2 things. I've got a power button on the console. And obviously I know that's supposed to give me more power, but I don't really know how to use it, whether I'm supposed to be stopped or you can do it on the fly and stuff. It's obviously an automatic.
Okay.
Yeah, and that power button usually just changes shift points. Like if on most all the other vehicles, I'm not 100% sure on the Isuzus, but usually they just it's like if you're towing or something like that, or if you're in a 4-wheel drive situation or something like that, it can help you get out of that or have better performance while you're doing that.
So if I'm going up Floyd Hill and I got a couple people in the car and it starts to clog down, I can just punch it.
Most definitely.
Yeah, you can do that, and you should feel some kind of difference. I'm not sure what that delays and shifts or
it does. It'll delay the upshift and things like that. We didn't have a rodeo, but my kids grew up driving a Trooper, which was a very similar vehicle way back when. And that's exactly what I used to have them do.
Have you ever heard complaints about that vehicle being underpowered?
Yes.
Yep.
You're not the only one.
That's right. 3.5 liter or something like that.
They were not enough engine at our elevation. That vehicle at sea level probably works great, but at our elevation, just not enough.
Yeah. I mean, it goes great in the snow and everything, but just going up the inclines.
They're great vehicles. I mean, like I said, we had a Trooper. It was a way older than yours, clear back in the early 90s. And I think we went through, my wife will correct me on this, but I think 3 kids drove the Trooper. And they used to nickname it the purple milk truck because it was kind of that purplish colored Trooper. And I tell you what, man, we never wore that thing out. Every kid drove that thing, and man, it went like no tomorrow. Didn't go very fast, but it was a great kid car.
Okay, good. And the last thing is I get a little bit of a spike on the RPMs when I first turn it on in the morning up to about it goes up over 1,500, and then it starts working itself.
Pretty normal.
Down. Is that anything to be concerned about?
No, that's
not at all.
The way the software is designed. Yeah, it's that's just the way they like to do that one.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Doug, thanks so much. Hour number 3 coming up next. We'll take your calls. We've got lines open. Excuse me. Call us now. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. And today, the biggest question has been, had a lot of great feedback, by the way. I appreciate it. What's your favorite feature on a vehicle? And by the way, we've had lots of different answers. There's still a lot out there.
Sure, you betcha. And we've even written down some that we haven't heard yet, but we'll wait till the end.
That's right. That's right. So you call us. We'll figure out what yours are first. 303-477-5600 at 1 o'clock. Sportsman of Colorado is going to be on, and they're going to have Colorado Parks and Wildlife Day. That is today. And then also have Jerry Neal and Matt Robbins, public information officers. They're going to talk about hunting benefits in Colorado. Also, the forecast for pheasant and waterfowl hunting this coming year. I believe Kevin Flesh and Scott are your hosts for today. So that'll be up at 1 o'clock. Stay tuned for Sportsman of Colorado. With that, guys, let's take a quick timeout. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Ken Rackley from TuneTech, right here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
John Rush here on the next Rush to Reason. Do you know we have a sexual identity crisis brewing in America? Ann Polk from Restored Hope Network will talk about restoring sexual identity. We'll have traffic and weather updates with David Leach, the strident conservative, and of course, we'll take all of your calls, answer all your questions. That's the next Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett. There's a high terror alert in Belgium's capital today. The alert means a serious and imminent threat of terrorism is possible in Brussels. Media reports say heavily armed police were patrolling key intersections of the city, and service was halted on the underground rail system. Turkish police say a Belgian national is in custody for scouting out the target sites for last week's terror attacks in Paris. Ahmet Dalmani was arrested at a luxury hotel in the coastal city of Antalya. 2 other suspects were also arrested on a nearby highway. The 2 men are suspected of being sent by ISIS in Syria to ensure Dalmani's safe passage across the border so they could meet him. A woman from Maryland was the American killed in the Mali Hotel terror attack. Anita Datar of Tacoma Park worked for the international development firm Palladium and was a founding board member of a nonprofit group that helped women with health care in India. This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett.
Hi, my name is Rusty Humphreys. I'm a radio talk show host heard by millions of people each and every week. And my word is my bond. When I tell you about something, I mean it. I was on my computer not that long ago. All of a sudden, hey, virus, call this number. We can help you. Come to find out that the number that was supposed to help me, they wanted to rip me off. Hundreds and hundreds of victims like I was. Call my friends at Hey PC Guy. No obligation. Your computer, and they give you 100% guarantee. If computer, you don't pay. Hey PC Guy helps you out remotely, so you don't have to unplug your computer. You don't have to take it to a store and no house. Hey PC Guy service as low as $5 a month, and they'll help you out 24/7. Do yourself a favor. Call for a free diagnostic check of your computer, 877-900-4343. 877-900-4343. That's 877-900-4343. Hey, PC Guy!
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine get a full barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
Watch this.
The Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before tap dead center.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Got a question for the experts? Then give them a call, 303-477-5600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, and we've got a couple of lines open. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Hour number 3 coming at you. If it is Sunday afternoon, you can email us by going to drive-radio.com. Check out the new website. We're continuing to work on that on a weekly basis. Did a few things this past week. And if you've got a question, you can always go there and ask a question. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is, what time of the night it is. And depending upon the weather, I might actually answer it in the middle of the night. You never know. I've been known to answer them at all hours of the day. You just never know. So wait a minute. I just got a text message in from Scott Watley that says there is a ginormous backup on I-25 northbound. There is an accident at Ridgegate backing to Plum Creek. It's a 5 to 6 mile backup. So if you're in that area, I would suggest going someplace else.
Take Parker Road.
Do whatever you need to. Yeah, just stay off of that.
Just make sure you're heading north so I can head south without
exactly
extra.
That's a big backup. So be careful if you're out there driving around.
Yeah.
We've got more weather coming in this week. Make sure your vehicle is ready, and they are enforcing the tire laws on I-70, the tire chain laws and tire laws on I-70. I heard some folks. I heard them talking about that on the news last night. I believe even some tickets and such have been issued. So they are paying attention. Make sure that you're all up to snuff and ready to go. Jeff, you're up next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you fellas doing?
Doing great. Thanks for calling us, Jeff.
Yeah, I got a goof for you. It's not real nice. It's not an accessory I miss, but I grew up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I had old Willys, and it had the hand crank windshield wiper.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not something you missed.
Worked on many of those back in the day. I learned on, I shouldn't say learned on, but worked on a lot of Jeeps back in the day. And some of those had them on both sides that were hand crank. And for the longest time, they were passenger side only also. But what a pain in the rear those things were.
Yeah, mine was dead center, so it would crank both of them.
Got it. Okay.
right above the Speedo.
So I have a dumb question. What engineer thought that was a good idea?
I guess it's better than nothing.
You talk about distracted driving. No, it's like, all right, who's going to flip the wipers? Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
That's why you always had a co-pilot with you.
You're right.
Well, the other thing about those, and Jeff, you know this as well as I, the blades themselves were crap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when the snow got heavy, too, I mean, it gets so thick that you could barely keep up with.
Well, exactly.
Right. You're steering or trying to crank the freaking windshield,
Yeah. Oh, here I got to shift. I can't see, but let me shift. And
the other thing they had, which by the way is a modern convenience we should talk about, but the defrosters on those were also junk.
Oh, yeah, but there was no defroster.
They didn't exist. That's right.
I had to keep a scraper with me so I could scrape.
Right, yeah. Well, that's just like Volkswagen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you needed them on the inside as much as the outside.
You scrape the window. You scrape the window with the scraper. You put your hand on it to thaw it out on the outside, and then you put your hand back under your leg so it'll warm up again. And then you drive.
Well, I used to get to the point where I went to a gas station, and not that I'm a thief or anything, but I borrowed one of the wipers, the windshield.
Oh yeah,
cleaner.
the squeegees.
And that's how I kept it clean.
There you go. There you go.
Gotcha.
I can tell you that I can't even count how high. Back in those days, we used to sell in my shops. We sold an auxiliary heater for those Jeeps that we could either put, under the seat or the Willys wagons. We'd put them, kind of towards the back. That way, they'd kind of defrost the back windows. But they made enough heat where you could actually get them to, help out on the front also. But
little hairdryer.
And there were guys making, plastic, different formed, defroster ducts and so on to try to help those things get better defrosters. But man, nothing really ever worked very well.
Yeah, but I did love that Willys wagon.
They were good. Yeah, they were fun.
I had the old Hurricane engine in it.
Yep, the old Hurricane 6.
Yep. All right, you guys have a good day. Okay?
Hey, you do the same, Jeff. Walk down memory lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Willys wagons. That was the modern day SUV. Think about it.
Sure.
It really was.
Yeah.
Because they weren't a truck. They weren't really a station wagon.
Right.
They still had four-wheel drive capabilities. They would pretty much go anywhere you wanted to go. But they were mechanical nightmares.
Well, anything of that era, let's
just say that. I made a lot of money working on Willie's wagons back in the day.
Sure.
Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Whether it was for clutches, transmissions, differentials, brakes, defrosters, you name it. Man, I worked on a ton of stuff on those.
Transfer case, linkage, everything. Yeah.
You name it. Yeah. That's right. 303-477-5600 is the number. Norm in Fort Collins, you are next.
Hey, John, following up with you an email I sent about my Escalade.
Oh, yeah, where you had the one tire that was off?
One tire was new and 3 are originals.
Got it.
And got it back out of the dealer. They weren't going to do anything.
Nothing, huh?
So should I lift it up, put a seamstress measure and go around each of the wheels and document it? And then continue the fight if needed?
I would. And like I told you, you don't want to be any more than about a half an inch difference in circumference on that vehicle, because the transfer case that's in that, that's got a viscous coupling device in it. And, you just don't want to be that far off, because it will have adverse effects on the system as you go down the road. And you bought it that way, right? With one new tire and the other 3 were half gone?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. And a dealer that sold it's basically saying that you bought it as is, it's yours.
Well, and when you throw the certified pre-owned in there, you wonder just how far did they really go through it.
What does certified mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Certified by the guy that certified it.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Now, did you get I forgot on this, Norm, did you get an extended warranty or anything else with it?
Well, a certified pre-owned Escalade basically extends the 4-year 50 to 6-year 70.
Okay, then what I would do is definitely document, even with what I would do is I would document with a camera and some pictures, and I would print all of that out and put it in a file that says, bought the vehicle on such and such a date, realized this, took it in the dealer, they said, they weren't going to do anything about it. Here's what I've documented. That way, if you get on down the road, close to that, the end of that warranty life, and if you have any problems, you can at least go back and say, well, you know what, guys, I told you so. Pony up.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Okay, John.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Norm. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's a vehicle, and Ken, you know this as well as I, that you want to make sure that that you're handling correctly.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, all-wheel drive, all that stuff. That's highly important.
And the reason why I say a half an inch is depending upon the vehicle and the tire size and so on. The smaller the tire gets, the more important that becomes. The larger the tire, it's a little bit more forgiving. In that particular vehicle, half inch, maybe 3/4 at most, but really we try to keep those within a half an inch of one another, just because otherwise you could end up with some issues. Let's go to Richard, who is up next up in Wyoming. Richard, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing, John?
Doing great. You're way north of us. What's going on up there? You got any snow?
We got inches last night.
Yeah, you broke up. How many inches?
4 inches.
4 inches. Okay. Well, you got a little more than us. We only got an inch or so down here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it depends on what part of town you're in, but anywhere from a skiff to inch and a half.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
So what's happening, Richard? What can we do for you?
I got a question on traction control.
Okay.
2008 Blazer.
All right.
Up here in Wyoming, the highways are usually icy. Okay,
yes.
Like today.
Yep.
So usually running 4 high with the traction control on, and it seems kind of goofy that the traction control is going in and out.
Going in and out is, you mean the lights coming on and off? You there, Richard? Sorry, you broke up. So when you say it's coming in and out, is the light coming on and off? Is that what it's doing?
No, the light isn't coming on and off, but to me, because I'm an old-time driver, and it just feels kind of squirrely.
Shouldn't.
Yeah. Usually you would have some kind of indication if that was actually kicking in. I mean, in traction control, it's going to say slip on the dash or something to that effect on that vehicle. It'll give you some kind of notification that it is engaged and stuff. And so if it's if it feels squirrely, more than likely we've got something going on, right? Steering, suspension, something along those lines.
Or we've got a tire issue, or back to the collar we had a moment ago, you've got one that's got different circumference on it that could be causing a problem. Any one of those things could cause an issue.
Okay, now there's a little button on the shifter, and I can take the traction control out of the
correct
situation, and it seems to do pretty good. Now, I'm not paying attention to the dash when I'm driving, so that traction control light might be flashing on and off.
I pay attention to that and see, next time you feel it acting kind of weird, look down and see if that light is coming on. That'll tell you whether the traction is, traction control is coming on or off. You just kind of watch that and see what's happening. That'll tell you, because what's happening is if it is slipping and it engages the traction control, that's where it might feel a little bit weird to you.
Yeah, it does. It kind of feels squirrely. You know what I mean?
Usually, you'll just lose power. Usually, I mean, it basically takes your foot off the gas pedal is basically what it does.
So you can have more traction to the wheel that's slipping is what it's doing.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes it'll even brake that wheel a little bit automatically to make sure that you're keeping traction there.
Okay, so that's probably what's messing me up.
Could be what you're feeling. Yep.
Yeah.
It is a little different. It's kind of like ABS brakes. You've kind of got to get used to how that feels. But again, we're talking about some of the features on today's vehicles. I'll tell you what, that's a good one for me. I like traction control.
Oh, okay.
When it's working right, it works really well.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't use cruise control either myself.
Yeah, I've just never been a guy that's used it much. It's habit. It's just how you drive.
Yeah, the transmission's always searching for a gear up there, the wind blowing and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you approach a little hill, it's going in and out.
Yep.
Looking for gears and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
probably affect your fuel mileage.
All right, Richard.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a great day up in Wyoming. Stay warm and out of the wind, which we know in Wyoming it blows.
Yeah,
so
that's
Wayne
impossible.
and Greeley and Bill, you guys hang tight. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We got one line open, 303-477-5600. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at GenosAutoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom designed frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in
15 seconds, guys.
You're inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
John Rush and Ken Rackley from TuneTech. And TuneTech, by the way, some of you listening are thinking, where is Ken Rackley located? Well, I-225 in Colfax, head east and look to the left.
Yep, on the north side, Colfax.
About an eighth of a mile down the road.
Yep, between Chambers and Sable.
Can't miss him.
That's right.
Big old nice sign up there. You just drive on in and say, hi, Ken, I'm here.
There we
Help
go.
me out.
And I'm usually always there, unless I get snowed in at the
Yes,
house.
you are.
So-
And by the way, you can find all of the phone numbers for all of our member shops and our sponsors all right on Drive Radio's website. It's drive-radio.com. Bill in Lakewood, you're next. What's going on today, sir?
I got you guys beat on the windshield wiper blades.
Let's hear it.
1974. It was, I think it was a Nova, the boxy type cars back then.
Mm-hmm.
We were up at Chambers Lakes during the daytime, you know. We're coming down Highway 14, and it's pouring rain. Windshield wipers don't work. It's raining so hard you can't see. Luckily, we all had black Lowe's Converse sneakers on.
Okay.
So we took all the shoestrings out, tied them together, and hooked them up to the windshield wiper blades. The guys in the back seat were the windshield wiper guys.
Got it. Got it. Not
That's how we
bad.
got-
Not
I mean,
bad.
it was raining.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even close to not raining.
Wow.
Not bad. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good trick.
Ingenuity on the
Yep,
fly.
pretty good trick.
You betcha. Oh, that's funny.
That's a good story, Bill.
Hey, I'll tell you what. What makes a good mechanic?
Ingenuity.
No, common sense.
Well, yeah, ingenuity, common sense, exactly.
I live with college graduates, my family, and I don't know if any of them got common sense. I got more, and I was a mechanic. That's my career.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and I got more common sense than all of them put together.
It's not a surprise.
So, okay, take it
Yay,
easy.
good stuff, Bill. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Wayne and Greeley. Wayne, man, what's happening today?
Well, it's cold.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, well, I just, I got the new Colorado, and I hadn't had these conveniences much before. I had a couple vans, and I'm really glad for some of this stuff. You just had an advertisement on there about your cabin air filter. I
Yes.
think that was a good innovation.
Good, yeah. Good point. Yes, it is. Definitely.
Yeah, you don't even think of that.
Things that I've noticed lately, every once in a while, my wife will jump in the car and she don't get the door shut tight, and I get a warning on there before, as soon as I put it in gear, that door's ajar.
Yep.
So that's a good innovation.
That's a good. Yeah, I had thought about some of those. Some of the ones that, some of the safety things that we sort of take for granted, which really do save lives. Seatbelts, airbags. Somebody mentioned anti-lock brakes earlier, but to your point, Wayne, some of these things we just take for granted because we hop in and
Well,
go.
yeah, she could have fallen out that door, if she just happened to push on it.
How about this for a modern convenience? Locking steering wheels and gear selectors.
Well, of course, yeah.
Because in the old days, they didn't have that.
You're right. Yeah, he could shut it off, grab the key.
My old 68 GS, you can, you can pop that thing in gear no matter what, and the steering wheel doesn't lock.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I had an Oldsmobile run into the barracks I was living in. It rolled down the hill, and somebody come out and said, "Your car's up against the barracks."
Yep.
That old Olds had it in park, but it didn't stay there, and it came on down the hill.
That's right.
But this driver information center. When I first bought this truck, I was a little disappointed because it didn't have full gauges, and I always like to have an oil pressure gauge and temperature gauge. And
It's there. It's just inside that center.
Yeah, it's inside the information center, and I can get the tire pressures. I can get my oil pressure. I can get the temperature of the transmission, which is important to me also.
Yep.
So there's a lot of innovation.
There is.
I think they help a lot.
Wayne, I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
Well, it's nice talking to you all,
Likewise.
as always. I did want to tell you too. Your insurance guy, Lauren, what's his name?
Lowenberger.
Lowenberger. Yeah, I got insurance from him a while back, John.
He's a good guy.
That was a real pleasant experience.
He's a good guy. Yep, very
He
much
saved
so.
me a bunch of money on my car insurance, and I went the whole smear with my house and everything. And he did a good job. Came to my house, worked with me on the phone a couple times. It's just a good deal. So I thought I'd throw.
He's a good guy. Yeah, Paul. You're the third guy today so far to say that. He's a great guy.
Every day.
Yep, good guy. Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Wayne, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. And I need to make a follow up earlier. I was talking about the Scion. I'm driving out there, the IA, which I can't figure out why they name it an IA. That's actually a Mazda 2. I said Mazda 3 earlier. I made a mistake. It's a 2, which we'll not see in the U.S. other than in that IA version. So that's a one step down, of course, from a Mazda 3. That's why the price is where it's at. But again, I don't know why that is being done by Scion and not Mazda. I haven't read up. I just got the car yesterday. Haven't done a lot of reading up on it at all. But that is a Mazda 2, not a Mazda 3.
Maybe it's upping Scion's, ability to sell vehicles.
Yeah.
And then Mazda's saying, well, if we sell a lot of these, hey, maybe we can introduce them.
I don't know. I haven't. I apologize. I normally have more time to read up on things, but I just got that car yesterday. Haven't done a lot of reading up on it, so I will do that. I just knew it was a Mazda because when you look around everything inside, it's like, this thing's a Mazda.
Yeah.
Looks like a Mazda, feels like a Mazda, acts like a Mazda, but says Scion on the outside.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Not that that's a bad thing. It's just,
got
to get used to it.
Right.
All right, let's go to Bill, who is up next. Bill, welcome to Drive Radio.
Yeah. I had a question about putting a positive track in a Silverado Chevy, and I was just wondering if that was practical or,
What year is it?
It's an 02 Chevy, 3/4 ton, and it's got the Allison with the 8.1 liter.
Okay.
And it's got plenty of power and pretty good in the snow till I hit a little ice, and then just one wheel spins. And I was thinking about the positive track.
Yeah, I would do that. In fact, several different ways you can go on that. The best way, at least I think, or I shouldn't say the best, but the least expensive way, and I think still works very well, is to put the original Governor Lock GM unit in it rather than an actual Positraction. Put the Governor Lock unit in it. I think they work extremely well, especially for the application that you're talking about. It's basically a non-limited slip when you're not needing it and full locking when you do need it.
Yep.
So it is. It's just kicks in when you need it.
Correct. It's got a governor. Okay. Believe it or not, there's a governor built inside of the unit. When it senses one wheel slipping, there's a little weight spinning device that slings out some cogs, I guess you could say. It's centrifugal force.
Exactly.
It spins out and locks the unit together and makes it a locking differential, not even a Positraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll actually.
They're cranking something with a rope when it kicks the dogs into the
That's right.
crank.
That's exactly what it does.
Exactly.
Works very well.
It's not even centrifugal. It's well, I guess in a sense, 3/4 of a turn on the one tire with no turn on the other will engage it.
It's got basically what it's got is it's got an actual gear on. It's got teeth on one of the side gears that when it notices one of those sides spinning, it will then engage that centrifugal weight and off you go.
Yeah.
Works very well.
That's put them on front and back too. Means it's
they don't make it for the they don't make it for the front. They only make that for the rear of that vehicle.
So it won't hurt anything if your front isn't engaged the same way as the rear.
Won't matter. It'll operate 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Doesn't matter.
I had an 02.
That is the on that truck. It would have been a G80 option to get the limited slip or the positive. Basically, they call it a Governor Lock. The G80. Yeah, G80 is what the truck would have had to been ordered with.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You can buy that unit though in the aftermarket. You don't have to go back to the dealer. That can be bought, in the aftermarket.
Okay, so you can just go to any of the aftermarket, go online and just ask for it. You can find it.
You can find that, and then you need somebody that understands how to properly install it to put it in. It's not a simple, pull it out, bolt it up, put it back in. The gear set would have to be set exactly the way it is now to have everything work like it's supposed to. That takes some some training and knowledge of how that works to make that happen. Not every shop out there does that nowadays.
Okay, what kind of money are we talking on that thing?
Oh, I'll bet you by the time you buy it and install it, probably $1,200 or so.
$1,200.
12-15 probably. Yeah.
Well, that's cheaper than buying a new truck.
Oh, yes, it is.
Just a little
by
bit.
far.
That's a couple of payments, huh?
Yeah. That's anymore. It might not. Yeah, it might not even make two anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's been a good truck. And when I bought it, I just assumed that it had positive track.
Got it.
All the other trucks I've ever had positive track, and when I assume, I'm usually wrong.
Well, and in the future on a GM truck, you can always go look inside the glove box. Typically on that truck is where that would be, and you can look and see if there's any kind of a designation, a G80, a G as in George 80. If that's there, it has positive traction. If not, then it is not there.
Yep.
I guess the motors are pretty popular. I've read an article in the Hemmings, and it said that they're getting to be everybody wants them to put in their cars.
Yeah, those are real popular. You can still buy a crate engine from GM in that 8.1 liter. It's a 500 cube motor, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
It's a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm. They work well.
Yeah.
They'll pass anything but a film stick.
That's exactly right.
12 miles to the gallon was the best I ever got on mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting about that, and I thought there was something wrong with it. But
No, that's it.
Yeah.
We still have one of those as a plow truck. So, Yep.
oh yeah, really, they're great.
Yep.
But,
Works
I
well.
was going to talk about defrosters.
I'm losing you, Bill.
Defroster on that thing.
Yeah, no, and hey, Bill, I think you said something about defrosters. I got to drop you, though, because I can barely hear you. Your cell phone sounds like it's breaking up. Mickey and Paul, I'll be right back. Don't go away. We have one line open, 303-477-5600. Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Colorado Select Car Care Centers present 560 ways to care for your car. Especially important during winter is to be prepared for anything. Keep an emergency kit with an ice scraper, jumper cables, flashlight, flares, blanket, extra clothes, candles with matches, bottled water, but especially any medication you cannot go without. And if you ever have any questions about your vehicle's performance, take it to any Colorado Select Car Care Center and they'll help you. Find a Colorado Select Car Care Center near you at coloradoselect.org.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop at BG Products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. John Rush here. Want to talk to you again about pets, your pet in particular. But maybe you know somebody that has pets, but you have no idea where to direct them when there's some sort of an issue. Well, guess what? Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, they are open every day of the year, including holidays. They run special hours on those days. They've got an emergency phone number. So this isn't one of those clinics where it's an 8 to 5 sort of a deal. But no, they do the whole 9 yards, including pet boarding. So, David, I know you've got a big dog, correct?
I do. A 3.5-year-old Alaska Malamute.
Have you ever had to board him?
Not so far. We only adopted him about a year ago.
Okay, so I've got a place for you. If you and your wife have to go out of town, there's no family, no one else to watch. You have family at Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. They'll actually take care of your dog just like you would.
That's great. They would have to be very special because he's a special guy.
Well, normally, again, this is a great center. It's 2 stories. They've got a full basement underneath where they do the grooming, swim therapy. They've got a full, by the way, on the upstairs level, they've got a full medical center where they do surgeries, the whole 9 yards. They have got this deal figured out, everything from digital x-rays to ultrasounds to laparoscopic surgery. They've got it covered. Doesn't matter what it is. Anything you need, they can take care of. But when it comes to the boarding side of the fence, David, they'll do the whole 9 yards, and I've been there, I've seen it, and guess what? It doesn't smell like the typical kennel that you would normally walk into.
That's nice, and it's also nice to know that they can handle a large breed dog.
And they can handle it for every day. Let's say you wanted to do daycare. They'll do that, or if you're going to go out of town for the next 3 weeks, they'll take care of that also. So anything you need, Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center is the place to go to. It's 303-708-8050. Call them today, or you can visit them online at LoneTreeVet.com.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it.
15 seconds, guys.
496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560, Ken Rackley with us. And, of course, we've got Larry Younger from Larry's Automotive and Transmission on the other side of the glass. And Mindy, our great engineer. That's what we do every Saturday right here on KLZ is take your calls, answer your questions. And if I've got topics like I had today, they sit over here next to me and I never talk about them. Because you're first. That's what we're here to take care of your problems, needs, and questions. Mickey, you are next. What's going on, sir?
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Hey, likewise. Thanks to you also. Or same to you, I should say.
Thank you much. Anyway, on the difference between an 1157 taillight bulb and a halogen bulb is the regular taillight bulb, the old 1157, runs about 100 to 120 degrees hot.
Okay.
The halogens run from 600 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why you got to wipe them off.
That's right, because it's the heat, and so it's the oil in your fingers, and that heat combination is the problem.
Yep.
Got it.
And the thing I'm thankful for is overdrive. I don't think anybody.
Nobody has said that yet.
Yeah.
Anywhere it's from the old freewheels and the Saab to the real overdrives in the 57 Chevys to the 5th and 6th gears that we got today.
You're right about that. Actually, all the way up now, we've got even triple overdrives in some vehicles, and we get all the way up into the 8 and 9 speeds. That Corvette I drove last weekend, that was a 7-speed with overdrive starting in 5th, so I had 5th, 6th, and 7th all overdrive gears.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I got to verify that 5th gear, but I believe it sure felt like 5th was overdrive. I'd have to go look and double check that, but it sure felt like 5th was overdrive.
Oh, I think that's probably the best gas saver we've had since
Mickey, not only that, not only has it been a big gas saver, but overdrive between fuel injection and overdrive transmissions, that's why engines today can go 300,000 miles.
Yeah, you're not winding them up at $4,000 at 90 miles an hour or 75.
Yep. No, you're right. That's between those two things. That's why they last so much longer.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. Line open 303-477-5600. Paul, you're next. What's going on, sir?
John, the thermal oil guy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Really good.
Good.
Let's talk about my 1955. Well, we call it Willie's, but old man Willis was pissed. Willis is not Willie's, right? He said that's how you say my name.
Willis.
Anyhow, you guys, when you had your shop, you did my I have a 302 Ford in it, so you had
Got it.
to follow the formula to replace that and the front brakes and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I have a 2001 Dakota. Had to do an emissions test. Up to this time, the last one I think was 2 years ago, they actually did an emissions test. This time, they had what it says onboard diagnostics readiness monitors.
Yep.
And they just checked my gas cap and charged me $25.
Yep. They scanned your computer, made sure everything was completed, and make sure the gas cap's sealing, and that's what they do on all the Durangos, all that stuff, because of the potential of a four or all-wheel drive. I've even seen that done on a two-wheel drive for whatever reason.
And they know at that point, if all of that's working properly, because of how sophisticated OBD2 is, you're good to go.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, and it's a baby, 37,600 miles.
Wow. Got it.
And my question is, in 06, I had the synthetic fluid put in the transmission.
Okay.
That was at 16,000 miles. And then a few months later, I had the drivetrain also replaced with synthetics, differentials, etc. So that was at 19,000 miles. So how soon should I worry about replacing that?
I probably wouldn't worry about it until 60, 70, 80 maybe, something like that.
You got a ways to go.
Yeah, and you're not towing with it or anything like that?
Yeah, it's going to outlive me.
It will.
Well, it's, it's going to last a long time.
Realistically, even for young people today, if they take care of a vehicle, they will all outlive all of us if you take care of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the old cars did that. Think of what a new one will do now, being able to go, engines that'll do 300,000, 400,000 miles. A lot of people are trading out of cars that, quite frankly, they don't need to.
You're right. Yeah. It's more of a want type
People
thing.
think, man, I got 100K, I got to get rid of it. No, you don't.
Wow.
Yeah, well, my 5.9 isn't the greatest on gas mileage, but to upgrade, I it wouldn't be foolish.
Yeah, you're going to drop $30,000-$40,000 for a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, for a few more miles per gallon, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, yeah, thanks, John.
bet.
I sent you an email, and I got your auto broker, and he took care of a problem.
Awesome.
Person
Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Paul, appreciate that.
Your response was like in an hour. Which
I try. I try.
That was fantastic.
I appreciate
it a
that.
lot.
Paul, thank you so much. Appreciate that so much. And I was right. So that transmission last week in that Corvette, that 7-speed, first gear 297, second gear 207, third gear 143, fourth gear is the 1-to-1, which is the one.
Okay.
Fifth gear 0.71, which is your typical overdrive, is about 0.71.
70%.
That's
or
30%.
30%. Yeah.
29%.
You're right.
The next one is 0.57.
Okay.
And the next one, seventh gear, is 0.48.
Wow. Yeah.
Half.
Yeah.
50%.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That is.
So I when driving it, I felt like fifth gear was overdrive, and I was right. So I honestly rarely got to seventh gear because you got to be zipping along to get there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, imagine you probably got to be over 70 miles an hour.
You got to be doing 70, 75 to even get in seventh gear.
And then it just starts to live.
And it's just like, exactly. Buzzing along.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Got some lines open, 303-477-5600, and about 20 minutes left of the show. David in Denver, you are next.
Hello.
Hello, David.
Yeah, my question is about using like seafoam as a stabilizer in like a 5-gallon jug of gas.
You're better if you're just trying to do a stabilizer. You're better off using the stay bill itself rather than seafoam.
Mm-hmm.
Your shelf life. Doing it that way, like say you take a 5-gallon can of gas you're going to use for the snowblower, the lawnmower, what have you. You could take that can right now, put some stable in it, and literally use it a year from now, and it would be fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. In fact, I need to get those guys back on air again and have them talk about how they do that. But they basically are, it's an old wives' tale where where Stable claimed, a lot of guys claim, well, it just puts a film on top of the fuel, and if it gets shaken around, then it doesn't last any longer. Not true. They're treating the fuel. In fact, inside of your vehicle and the metal that's actually inside of the tank, they're actually treating the inside of the tank. Their Stable 360 product is a fantastic product, and I think Larry, the Napa stores are now carrying that Stable 360. Are they not? He's shaking his head. Yes. So yeah, you can find that. product at your local Napa store. It's Stable 360. If you've got a car, a lawnmower, anything that's going to sit over the winter months, put it in there. If you drive the car on a nice winter day and it's nice enough where you want to go take that old Buick out and go drive it around, feel free. And that Stable's not going to go anywhere. You could even top the fuel off a little bit, add a little bit more in it, and off you go.
Yep.
Good product. Works well. All right, let's do this. We'll keep Larry busy with some calls. 303-477-5600. What's your favorite car feature? And some have been pretty basic. Some people said, how about defrosters? And
right. Yeah.
So, and when I started doing this, I didn't think about any of that. I was thinking more of the modern features of today. But here's one for you. How about radial tires?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Some of us that used to drive on bias ply tires, everybody in here, Larry's in there shaking his head, radial tires, you quit, you can't see me. Well, YouTube, you can. You used to have to do this to drive a car.
Well,
not anymore.
Yeah, and 8,000 miles out of a set of tires and stuff like that. Yeah.
They followed the road and they didn't last as long and they were hard as bricks. So, I'm thankful for radial tires.
Yeah.
Exactly. This has turned out to be sort of a Thanksgiving themed, what option are you thankful for?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely.
And again, to all of you out there, have a great Thanksgiving. That's coming up this week. Please be safe. A lot of you will be traveling, going to see family, friends, and so on. Be really safe on the road. We've got more weather coming in even this week, so be careful. It's that time of the year where you never know what storm's going to pop up next. We'll be back. Don't go away. We still have another 15 minutes left of Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the customer your driver was trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually anticipate maintenance items before they become major repairs or ultimately breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
Colorado Select Car Care Centers present 560 ways to care for your car. Especially important this time of year is to check your filters. Air filters are easy, but you also need to check your fuel and transmission filters, and it's best to have a qualified technician do that. Any Colorado Select Car Care Center can check your filters and give your car a quick winter safety inspection. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of shop owners who are ASE certified master technicians driven to provide exceptional customer service with, at a minimum, a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. Find a Colorado Select Car Care Center near you at coloradoselect.org.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is...
15.
Instead, Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
All right, John Rush and Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, last segment of the day. It seems like we just got started.
Seems like it. Yep.
Time flies.
Yep. 2 hours and 45 minutes ago.
And that's right. And we're talking about auto features that maybe you're thankful for or you're just really have enjoyed over the years driving. Oliver, you're next.
Yes, hello.
How are you doing, Oliver?
Great. Thank you. Great show.
Thank you, sir.
So the last few cars I've had, it has the automatic windshield wipers where it automatically adjusts to the
rain
full
sensing
setting all the way down to the intermittent.
That's pretty nice, actually.
Got it. First time I had to get a rental car without them, I almost went crazy.
They're pretty nice.
I had it right.
That's a feature I really am starting to enjoy more and more. And the other one I'm starting to enjoy, I don't have it on all the cars I drive at times, but the auto high beams, I really also like because it just, I know it makes you a little lazy, but the nice thing about it is if it sees anything at all coming at you, it will automatically dim the lights. Now, here's a feature for you that I didn't know existed until I drove this last Volvo I drove that last week. It had the heated, windshield washer nozzles on it. Well, this Volvo will actually go into high beams and stay on high beam all the time. And then it's got like, I don't know how to explain it. It's got like eyelids that actually come down over the headlights to deflect the light at the oncoming traffic so you don't blind the driver, but yet you still get the benefit of having the high beam. So it adjusts the lights accordingly to, so it doesn't reflect into the eyes of oncoming traffic, but still gives you the high beam capability so you can see better.
Yeah, they're a projector and
that's right.
They focus down.
They turn down and
focus back up. Yeah.
Pretty slick.
Yeah.
Really slick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're not done innovating yet. There's still a lot more features, but there's some really cool ones.
Yeah. That heated windshield washer, I actually had that option on my truck.
Really?
And I bought it, and GM had to buy it back because it was catching fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a nice feature.
Yeah, they had to disable it, and it was a recall. Yeah.
Took it back.
Yep.
That stinks.
Yeah, exactly. Because on a frosty day.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn those babies on, and off you go.
It takes 10 seconds, and it kicks on, and it'll kick on 3 times throughout the...
So here's another feature. Volvo, Land Rover have these, some of the other exotics, heated windshield.
There we go. Yeah.
It's got little wires all through the windshield, so the windshield itself is heated, just like a rear defroster, only a lot better.
Yep.
Nice features.
Yeah. Ford had that on some older cars.
They did on the Taurus. That's right. Yeah. Back in the 90s or something like that. Yeah.
And it's one of those features that if they could ever get the cost down to where every car with it, could have it, man, it's a fantastic feature.
Yeah. You betcha.
You just don't have any obstructions with ice building up or anything along those. You're not relying on the air from the defrosters to actually heat the windshield up. You're using the elements inside of it.
Right.
What else, Oliver?
All I got, Chris.
What's that?
So that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
You bet, Oliver. Appreciate it very much. Well, we've got time for maybe one more call, 303-477-5600. Again, coming up next on Sportsman of Colorado, it is Colorado Parks and Wildlife Day. Their guest today is Jerry Neal and Matt Robbins, public information officers. They're going to talk about how hunting benefits Colorado and forecast the pheasant and waterfowl hunting seasons this year.
Yeah. And you were asking on the Colorado Car Show. Yeah, it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This coming week.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Got it. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what? That's always a fun event to go to.
Sure.
I may get out there this year and see that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Usually Friday's not the busiest day because everybody's doing
Pop
their
by
own
there because
thing.
everybody else is out shopping.
That's right.
For Black Friday.
Yeah.
Now, we had a lot of things I didn't get to today, and Larry brought these up. Maybe here in the next couple of weeks we'll do this, but a lot of it has to do with how to properly drive in blizzard-like conditions. That's one of the things that Larry brought me because of the blizzard conditions we had this past week here in Colorado. Number one, if you don't have to go out, don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty easy one, actually.
Yeah, if you don't have to.
Why do people always think they need to go to the grocery store in a blizzard?
Because they didn't go before.
Do you not have a pantry or items in stock at home, or?
Yeah, they're afraid they're going to get snowed in for a month.
But they won't. We're Colorado. The sun will shine tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, even in the worst of our blizzards here, what's the longest you've ever been out, not been able to drive on the road? 2-3 days at the most?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big blizzard to not be out of the house in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing about blizzards is reduced visibility. Yeah, you think? Like you can't see 10 feet in front of you most of the time. So yeah, that's a pretty big deal. So only drive as fast as you can and respond to the conditions in front of you properly.
Yeah.
Don't use high beams during a blizzard. Yeah, that's kind of a given. In fact, if you have fog lights, use fog lights if you've got them.
Yeah.
If you can't see the road, pay attention to the road reflectors. What I would say is if you can't see the road, get off.
It's
Am I missing something?
There was a couple of times driving home in the snow blind, and man, you're counting the little markers on the side of the road, and that's all you could do. Yeah.
Keep a kit in your car. This kit should have warm clothes, a shovel, flashlight, snacks. I'm going to add trash bag. I'm going to add a reflective vest. I'm going to add some gloves. I'm going to add a bottle of water.
Mm-hmm.
I heard, I haven't tested this yet. Dan and I are going to test this during the week. I just haven't had time to do it yet. Supposedly, a can of tuna, not packed in water, but packed in oil, will serve two purposes. You can poke a hole in the top, have a little piece of rope with you. You can use that as a candle to actually heat and do whatever you need to for light inside the car if it's a snowy night, because the oil inside the tuna will burn and it's not toxic. And after you're done, you can eat the tuna.
Sweet.
Kill two birds with one stone. So one of these, either during the week or during the weekend, I got to bring a can of, my wife was reminding me the other day, we got to buy some oiled tuna and actually try that and see what happens. It makes sense. It probably would work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put a little wick in it. And
yeah, exactly.
Light it up. Now that means you also need to have some matches or I guess you could use a cigarette. Well, here's another one. You know how many cars anymore don't have cigarette lighters in them?
Or ashtrays, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of cars nowadays do not have they'll have the power port,
right?
But there's no cigarette lighter to actually heat up to go start a fire with.
It's an auxiliary port is what they call it.
They're not calling it a cigarette lighter anymore.
If they come with an ashtray, it's removable, and it's just a
lot of new cars I drive today, test each week, do not have cigarette lighters in them.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, you can see all those new car reviews either on our YouTube channel, which is all one word, Drive Radio, or you can just go to our website, drive-radio.com, and right now we just pop those up on the website. It's real easy to go to and find them that way. Number 6 on this list is keep rubber floor mats in your car in case you get stuck. The mats can help you get unstuck, which I've seen people try that, and I'm not sure how much success that. Usually, I just see the mat flinging out the back.
Launch out the side.
I don't usually see much success there.
Right.
Some people use kitty litter. What I would tell you guys, instead of keeping kitty litter in the car, if you're going to go that far, just take a gallon jug of salt with you. If you're that worried about it, the salt works every bit as good as the kitty litter does.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're looking for traction, go throw some sand salt down. It works every bit as good as kitty litter does. Now, and frankly, I bet you can buy the salt as cheap as kitty litter. I haven't looked lately. I don't buy kitty litter, so I don't know, but I'm guessing you can probably buy it for about the same price. If you're stuck, don't try to force yourself out by accelerating. The other thing that Jeff Kitty will tell you, Larry's partner in there, is don't rock the vehicle with a late model automatic transmission back and forth if you do, in fact, get stuck. Hard on the transmission. Builds up heat. Heat's an enemy. Causes big problems. Don't rock the vehicle. Look as far ahead as you can while driving. Drive well below the speed limit. Brake earlier than normally, earlier than normal than you would in dry conditions is what I'm trying to say, and drive as smooth as possible. Jerking motion, slamming on brakes or accelerators can cause sliding. And if you do start to slide, look where you want to go, not what you want to hit.
Hey, you're right. Exactly. And increase your distance. from the person in front of you, because a lot of people don't do that. And, and that's where you see one car slip and then 10 cars slip, and they're all coming together.
All right. Last call of the day. Lee, you're up next.
Yeah, hi. I got a quick question about octane rating on gasoline.
We'll help you out.
Okay, well, if my car has an 87 recommended octane, and I pull up to the pump and there's an 85 and a 91, A, how important is it to do at least 87? And then B, is it okay to average the two?
No, so in our altitude, you're going to lower it 2 notches. So if your owner's manual says 87, you use 85 at our altitude, and that is fine. No other adjustments need to be made. They've already done that for you at the pump. They know at our altitude, you don't need as much octane, so it automatically lowers 2 notches.
Yeah, so you do run that all the time.
Yep, just run that all the time. Run 85 all the time.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Great. I'll do that.
All right. That's it for the day then. Hey, we are out of here. So, Ken Rackley, Tune Tech, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
It's always a joy to have you. Tell people again how to get to you.
Yeah, we're at 14851 East Colfax, between Chambers and Sable on the north side, about 4.5 blocks east of 225.
There you go. And what's your phone number?
303-364-3391.
All right. And Larry Unger on the other side of the glass, Larry's Automotive and Transmission. You can find them again at drive-radio.com, along with all of our other member shops and sponsors of Drive Radio. Also catch all of our podcasts there. Mindy, thanks so much for engineering for us. Up next is Sportsman of Colorado. Stay tuned. Don't go away. And listen to KLZ all week long. Keep it tuned right here. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including